Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, what's going on?
How was everything going today?
It's all good, man. We down for another Monday, Tuesday. So man, we less than 30 days out. Yeah. Man, I can't wait till I see some people cry. I'm just hoping. I just want to see the cries and tears, man. That's what.
Gotta elect the first queen.
Yes. Oh man, hey Stan, I'm sorry, bro. Just to let you know, man. Hey, I posted on Facebook. Don't know if anybody gonna come through, but I posted. I want the ones with. Hopefully, we get some people with some smoke come up. In the
comments, or you posted the link for
I posted the link, dog. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, well, look, if they want to come up, man,
yeah, I hope no problem, man. So they've been watching my FB like I've been showing you. You know what I'm saying? So I hope they do, because we definitely gonna go over their comments. So, but yeah, man. What's happening, bro? What's happening, man?
Man, it's really the political situation, the world, nationally, it's so wild, bro. Yeah, it's so wild. It's so hard to really get a beat, or get a beat on everything, and a lot of it is really just trying to stay, what you want to say, like optimistic in so many words about the future and about tomorrow, even. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like.
I'm not, bro. I'm not at all.
Terrible. It's terrible. It is terrible. It's utterly terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, but how about you? How's things on your end? I know you got some. You could let some background. Basically, so I just want to say, the thumbnail is a video of this guy interviewing people in Vegas about who they're voting for. So I just thought this brother, who I took 3 screenshots of, he was a very
he's the most egregious.
Yeah, and so we don't begrudge you having a political affiliation or whatever. That's not the point of our show. It's just education. We try our best to illuminate certain things that we think are relevant to the Black community, and anybody who want to watch, really largely the Freeman's Collective. But we do try to bring information when we can. So when you see people who behave like this brother here, man, it's hard to separate the critique of his ideas from the critique of him as a person. So I might not do a good job of that today. But you know, charge that to
I
the
mean,
game because he's terrible.
I mean, ultimately, what it's come down to is like it's hero worship. You know what I mean? Like we have supplanted politicians and celebrities. That's how we cover them instead of like cover them for their policies, what they've done, what they haven't done. It's almost like hey, I'm in this camp. Like that's the reason why we went with K-Hive because it's very similar to Beyonce or or the Swifties with Taylor Swift. That's how we're treating these politicians as if what I'm saying, you're holding them up on this pedestal, and irregardless of, like I said, what they've actually done or didn't do, you know what I mean. You're going to be a ride or die, irregardless, right? You know what I mean. Even when faced with hardcore facts and realities of their record, and that sways different because ultimately you treating them just like a movie star or a celebrity or anything like that. You're not saying, what is this person doing for me? What have they done for my, what policies have they put forward that are going to impact me, good, plus or minus? What's their track record and what they've done against my community, right? Or what have you, things of that nature. Like people aren't looking at it that way. You know what I'm saying? And they're, like I said, it's just hero worship, or they just have a real simple political analysis when it comes to what we're seeing. So it's just like I said, it's just like as if we're like in high school and I like Wu-Tang and you know what I'm saying, you like whatever Mobb Deep or something, you know what I'm saying, or
Tupac or whatever,
Biggie,
yeah.
or you know what I'm saying, it's like it's to that level of thinking and analysis and assessments, and it's just like, bro, it kills me. And then they're gonna try to turn around and then try to say that that you're ignorant, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, yeah. But anyway, yep. I guess we got we've kind of laid out. I think we can go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, well, I would say this. I think the biggest thing for me that I noticed is the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Like, so the Trump supporters, they have no problem saying, they believe Trump is appointed by God to save America or save the children or to defeat the pedophile ring or whatever. They have no problem saying that. They dress like him. They talk like him. When he got hurt, they put the bandage on their ear. Like, they have no problem admitting that and doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
But then the Democrats want to act like they're smarter than that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they say, I can't be one issue voter. You can't be a one issue voter. But when you say, why are you voting for her? The reason they all voted for her because she's black.
Or she's not Trump.
That's not even right. That's not even an issue. That's not even an issue. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that I think is hilarious. You have liberals who believe that they've got some kind of moral superiority or intellectual superiority over conservatives and Trump supporters. Like the whole expression blue MAGA, that's really what y'all are. Y'all are the same. Yeah. Y'all the Spider-Man meme. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Y'all the same. Y'all both out of it. So, yeah, I'll pull up. You want me to pull up that video, or you want to pull up something? No, you first.
We can go through it. I guess we can chop through the video, however where you want to where you want to stop and start and do our analysis. Freeman reacts. What was it? Fair use.
Right. Fair use. Well, I'm hoping the guy won't have a problem with us doing this analysis of his work. Let's see. Let me turn this music.
Yeah. I mean, but it was overwhelmingly, at least in Nevada, which is, again, a battleground state, dog. I mean,
right. Typically Democratic voters, they're heavily unionized in Vegas because of the hospitality industry. A lot of unionized. They had a big union drive like 2 years ago. The hospitality workers union got a big contract and concessions. The teachers are there trying to get some kind of contract going. They're not having as much success because I don't believe they can strike.
Should we be voting policy or should we be?
Let me see. It started, but they contractually they can't strike over there. So that limits really your unions.
The collective bargaining. Yeah.
It really limits your unions. Your bargaining power, and then like they don't even they're not even trying to like sick out or anything. So you're really limited to what you could do. But here, I'll start it over just so we can get an idea of the groundwork. And I'll probably just show a couple clips and then speed it up to that guy and his wife and I don't know who else.
Donald Trump or
that
Kamala
black
Harris?
female in the
Oh,
beginning,
Donald
too,
Trump with the that.
Oh yeah.
That is should we be voting policy or should we be voting because of somebody's skin color? What do you think?
Policy, but it also drew me in with her being part of my race.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came in office and put that vaccine out. So let's stop playing.
What's going on, everyone? James.
Like, honestly, y'all know me. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. Right? Y'all know me. 10-4 Kofi. I didn't get the shot. I was on here, you know. Well, that's not a selling point for me.
Right,
If
bro.
anything,
It's yeah. For a lot of people, it's not. A lot of people, it's not. And what kills me, you know, when we're doing our analysis of the debate, you know what I mean? Like, hold on. So we, on one hand, you talking about what, you know, a government shouldn't be allowed to make a woman choose to do, you know, or make a woman have any involvement in a woman's choice to kill her own baby, right? That's really what it is. I can stop calling it reproductive health because it's anti-reproductive health. That's what they need to say. Right. you just want to kill a baby, but versus, but it's okay. The government was okay mandating a vaccine that everybody had to take, or else. You know what I'm saying? No crickets, never. You know what I'm saying? No ever talk about that, bro. You know what I mean? Never no questions like that.
Them same people who is now saying my body, my choice, bodily autonomy, whatever. Completely okay. You shouldn't be able to go outside. You shouldn't be able to go to the doctor. You shouldn't be able to live your life. We need to make it a living hell for you. And it's like double standard is like, what's the consistency? What's the moral consistency here?
It doesn't matter. It's because it's not logical thinking whatsoever. It's all about, well, this is what my team is saying, so I'm with that team no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, just like when it comes down with the Republicans, right? You know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, well, all right, y'all want for people having abortions then, but then you against, you know, any social networks that help people raise their families and take care of the kids, right? You know what I'm saying? That's been a long one that you know the left have, you know, hit at the Republicans. You know, y'all so about, you know, not having abortion and things of that nature, but you're not for any type of social services or anything like that. And people with their welfare queens and things of that nature. The whole thing is that's why I say it's trash, bro. You know what I mean? Republicans, Democrats, it's pure trash because it's the system that's the problem. You know what I mean? You know, that's the overall apparatus is the problem. It ain't, you know what I mean? And if you're not drastically trying to destroy what the current system is and alternate, and we don't need a little fixes around the fringes. No, we need a wholesale uproot of this whole political system completely because it's bought and paid for by the corporate and rich people in this country, irregardless. You know, but all right, man. Yep.
James Klug here. We are in Las Vegas to find out who Americans are voting for. This should be interesting. Let's go talk to some people.
Very good.
Huge shout out to our friends over at Allegiance Gold for sponsoring this video. Trump or Harris? Trump. What about you? Trump. Harris. Where are we leaning, boys? Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Donald Trump? Kamala. Why Kamala? I don't like dicks. Okay. Miss, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris? Why Kamala Harris?
She's middle class citizen, and she's a very well spoken black woman. I respect her. She's an AK.
Bro,
I'm rewinding, but I just like she sounds like. Remember in the Matrix when they had to learn something, they just hook them up to the machine and then put the chips in there.
Right.
And they just
she took all the talking points. She got all the talking points.
Like, look, why you like her? She middle class, like she middle class.
Middle class, like where, when, and how? When and how? You know what I mean? Like
the middle of what? But that's the thing. Like you have just these people. It's like what they call it, neuro-linguistic programming. Like she just heard that so much. Like it's a pop quiz. She middle class. Like no, she not, bro.
she AKA.
You can't be middle class to own a home in San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? Like even the people that's been in San Francisco,
right,
have been forced out of their homes from taxes and stuff.
right,
Or they done sold it from upkeep of all the other issues that are in San. You can't be middle class and live in San Francisco. Just take her career history out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But even if she was middle class, what does that have to do with the last 40 years of her life? Let's say she was middle class. She's almost 60 years old.
You're right.
You ain't been middle class at the very least since 40 years ago.
You're right.
You know I'm saying Magic Johnson grew up poor. Does he know anything about what we dealing with on a regular basis? Can he relate? Because he can maybe remember. Maybe he got some family, sure. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous to even say that. And then she's talking about she's an AKA. Are you an AKA? Like, what is that? What is the relevance of that? Any of us, the voting public, right? Any of us in the voting public, what is that? What is that concern for us? I'm gonna rewind it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Miss, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris? Why Kamala Harris?
She's middle class citizen, and she's a very well spoken Black woman. I respect her.
Pause
she's
it,
an AKA.
pause it.
She's for everybody.
Not word salad. Not word salad, bro. Not word salad. Every time she answers a question, you know what I mean? Is word salad. You're like, what did she just say? Like, you know what I mean? Like that, like her latest interview on 60 Minutes. The latest just did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got to cover that. Yeah, let me look. That's a video I want to look up.
Hey,
go ahead,
every
man.
time you ask her a question, then like
she
I
never
said,
answers it.
when she got a question that she hasn't rehearsed for,
Right.
Let's say you push back a little bit, she gives an answer, and then you push back more, and like she haven't rehearsed the pushback. It's like she makes this noise like she drowning. Like, this ain't ghetto, guys. What is it? You know what I'm saying? Like when they said, so what happened if they don't pay more taxes? The corporations don't pay more taxes.
Right.
It was like, they have to. Like, no, they don't have to. How does this work?
She got hit up again on 60 Minutes. Yeah, I'm about to look up the clip where Kamala's meltdown, 60 Minutes meltdown. Yep. So I'm gonna bring that up.
We got Jay Knight saying, does she have any other way to relate to people other than neurolinguistics? No, that's the whole game that they run on. She don't have a way to relate. Her whole shtick is just pre-programmed. You repeat the same. That's what they did with Joe Biden.
Right.
He's not dumb. He's not, he's not mentally disabled. He's not crippled. He's not lame. Nothing. Mm-hmm. And they just kept saying it. They kept saying it. And so they had people repeating it. Regular people on the street like this. Oh,
they talk about Trump being they talk about Trump being Hitler and all of that, bro. That is the quintessential Hitler-esque thing. You talked about in Mein Kampf, right? You keep repeating a lie until it becomes true. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much, modern day media, corporate media, politicians, so on and so forth. You keep repeating the lie until it, until it becomes the truth, man.
Right.
Yeah.
People, they have no context for what used to be or what is. Even in 1984, they deal with that. You completely control the narrative to the point where there's nobody left or nobody capable of contradicting you.
Right.
Doesn't Joe have dementia? Indeed. And they finally admitted after he had that terrible debate performance. But it was just I was listening to I think it was Jimmy Dore. They said they just found some unreleased emails. It was known, it was known, but they were trying to. So the released emails just basically were showing how the Biden campaign was working with the media to basically make everybody who said Joe Biden had dementia or whatever to make them look like they were crazy. It was like a concerted effort to try to flip the narrative on him being mentally challenged, to be polite, because I don't want to say what I want to say.
Right.
But I'm gonna keep playing here. Then we'll zoom into the
yeah. Yep.
And not just for one person and one party. She's for everybody.
Who did you vote for in the primary? Did you vote in the primary?
I did not. I wasn't going to vote this year if it was going to be between Biden and Trump because I didn't want either or, so I wasn't going to vote. And for real, it don't even matter what we vote because our vote don't count any damn way. You know what I'm saying?
Where are you from?
Kansas City, Missouri.
So Kamala Harris basically got you back in and encouraged you to get out there to vote.
Yes, she did.
She's obviously been super involved in this administration. What?
But even like what she just said, I didn't even vote in the primary. I wasn't going like. You're the most uninformed voter you could possibly be because if you wasn't voting, I know you didn't pay attention.
Right.
You had already determined I don't like either one of these people, so I'm not even listening to what's going on. And they put Kamala Harris up, and now you're like, man.
Oh, it's a chance to get a quote unquote black girl when this lady is she as much as black as Donald Trump is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In my opinion, she's as much as black as Donald Trump is, bro. You know what I mean? She has much she shares as much of your cultural background as Donald Trump does. And then
Donald Trump,
you know what I mean?
Russell Simmons growing up.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? He was hanging out with rappers and so on and so forth, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, but I'm like, but who this woman socializes with? Who does she choose to marry? You know what I mean? Who, you know what I'm saying? Who she chooses to, you know, be in her closest, you know, circles or what have you, bro. It's not black people. This lady got nothing to do with us, bro. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, more importantly for me is what has she done? You know what I mean? What has she done to our people? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Like her locking up black mothers. You know what I'm saying? For a political come up. You know what I mean? Like that's the part. You know, and publicizing it as well. It wasn't like some policy that she was forced to have to do. She created a policy that purposely went after black mothers. Specifically put them on front page. You know what I mean? As they're getting arrested, knowing that this woman has a child that has sickle cell anemia, and knew all that, had her switched up. It wasn't a mistake. It was like, oh, okay, no, this is wrong. They had that lady caught up in the system for 2 years dealing with that, with the sick child on top of it, bro. And this is one of the first policies on her inaugural speech. She said, "This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get parents locked up if they don't freaking bring their kids to school because that was impacting
truancy." Her exact words was something like truancy is tantamount to crime or something.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Now they found that illegal. The California Supreme Court said no, it's illegal for you to put parents in jail for a truancy charge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not even plausible. That you can't even do that. So that law got taken off the books. They had to go all the way through the California Supreme Court. You know what I mean? Like that's the person that y'all caping for? Like that's wild. And you're gonna try to say that I'm a sellout? Like I said, I hope the people who had all that smoke for me on FB come through, bro. I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for it. Talking about, yeah, we're gonna cover it, man. We're gonna show you the hypocrisy, the lameness of of a lot of the that's why people are they done for, bro. They done for because they fall for this shit over and over and over. And that's why we don't get nothing. Because they put a black face up. Oh, and through you vicariously living through her. You know what I'm saying? Like we did with Obama, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We, black family in the White House. Yeah, and still, what did he do for the black families? You know what I'm saying? No, he bailed out Wall Street. You know what I mean? He bailed out Wall Street. That kicked a lot of black families out of their homes, specifically here in Detroit. You know what I mean? So he ain't do nothing for us. Even when Brian Allen was begging him, hey, just give us some of that military advertising budget to the black, newspapers and television stations. He could have did that executive order, bro. He didn't need Congress to do that. You know what I'm saying? To keep these black organizations alive. Did Obama do that? No, not at all. This the same woman. No, I'm not gonna do anything specifically for black people. And this you know what I'm saying? This is the female that you know what I'm saying, that y'all saying is, you know what I'm saying, like what we should be rooting for, bro, man. Like, and then gonna try to compare that on the same level as Trump, like because Trump daddy and them got in trouble for not lending letting black people go into their hotels and residences. Like, how is that on the same level as keeping purposely fighting against have a man to get a DNA test done that would prove whether or not he did a crime or not, and you being the obstacle standing in the way of that? Ultimately, this man was free. He would have died. We just talking about my man who just died, who just got killed, right? You know what I'm saying? We talk that would have happened to this man in this particular case.
Right. Kevin, I believe it was Kevin Cooper, right?
That was his name. I don't know.
Cooper.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like this woman is terrible, bro. Right. And you going, and actively participating in the genocide, actively. You know what I'm saying? Word has gotten out. The Biden administration, Biden-Harris administration has been pushing for Israel to expand the war into Lebanon, not slow it down, not ceasefire it, none of that. You know what I mean? They definitely not going to do a weapons embargo. They're pushing them to go into Lebanon. You know what I mean? How's that better than Trump? I mean, Trump is going to probably do the exact same or worse. You know what I'm saying? But how is it better? That's the argument that's being raised, is that it's better. How is it?
In all honesty, it can't be worse unless Trump is open about it. I mean, objectively, it can't be worse. You're killing kids.
Mm-hmm.
Unless because he's not prepared to give them the stronger weapons than he's already got. They've already got nukes, but they're not giving the green light for any of that stuff. So, you're in a situation where you're choosing between two bad options, and somebody's trying to convince you that there's a better option and there's not. But to make the point that you're, to kind of emphasize the point that you're making about her record and her character, Jamal Truelove in California, when she was the DA of San Francisco, he was in San Francisco. He went to prison for a murder. He didn't commit. He ended up getting $13 million from the state of California. She or her office or somebody connected to her office, because that's what their supporters are. Well, it wasn't her. I think you even read a stat where you said like the majority of the cases when she was DA, she didn't even try them. Like, she didn't actually even go to court over them. It was her staff did it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's normally the DA doesn't. You know what I'm saying? There's always. Well, yeah, but
it was something where they were saying it could have been somebody else, but it was saying like she didn't do any of them. Like in instances where she should have gone, she didn't even go. Like in instances where we're high profile enough that she should have actually been there. Like, I get to have assistant DAs, I get that, but it was something like that. But yeah, I mean, when you look at her character, it's just opportunism is what it boils down to. She'll say whatever she needs to say in order to get a vote. It's actually a commercial I wanted to try to find, but I'll let this video play some more.
Let's get into the videos. Let's get more into the videos. I'm gonna stop my comments. Let's get let's get to the juice of it. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I don't want to be on here for 2 hours.
What do you like that she's done so far the last 3.5 years?
I mean, really, actually, to really be honest, I haven't really followed her the last 3 years. I just respect her as being a black woman. I'm a black woman, and not saying I'm just going for her as a black woman, but I just like what she stands for.
Should we be voting policy, or should we be voting because of somebody?
I'm sorry. Not saying I'm voting for her because she's a black woman, but the only thing I have to say is that she's a black woman. Like, you literally are contradicting yourself. You don't have anything to say. You didn't pay attention to the last. Like, you literally have checked out. And I get it. She may still be checked out in a lot of ways. She was asked about her political opinion. So, it is what it is. But these are the people who we have voting. These are the people who we have voting. This is why nothing ever gets better. Because when stuff doesn't work out right, you have people who are so detached that they don't get upset. We don't have any kind of revolutionary action because nobody knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's skin color. What do you think?
Policy, but
that's more important to you then?
It's more important to me, but it also drew me in with her being part of my race. You know what I'm saying? It drew me in to want to vote and want to participate in this election because I mean I understand her. We're from the same culture. You know what I'm saying? So I understand her.
Why Donald Trump over Kamala Harris?
Because she's had 4 years in office to do something that she said she's going to do, and she still hasn't done it.
Kamala Harris. Why Kamala Harris?
I think it's a better option for us.
She's been in office the last 3.5 years. What was your favorite accomplishment of hers? She's been very heavily involved in the administration. What would you say is just your favorite?
I think she's just the right person to the next president.
Go ahead and pour it to my man, dog. This is more. It's more than this.
That's what it matters to us. Donald Trump's another level. It's all for himself and his friends and everything. I don't think that's fair.
Donald Trump's tax cuts for the middle class.
Hey,
do you think that was helpful for the middle class or no?
So when you think about, like when you watch Tariq,
guess what I'd vote for?
You only like it because you want to help get your family over here, and that's all it seemed like when you hear her talk. When you hear that cat talking, like, yeah, I think she's a better Hawkshank. Like, yeah, because you want to get your people over here. No, I don't like throne. Like, why not? It's more tax cuts for Trump. Only think about himself. Like, but Trump is offering tax cuts, whatever. Yeah, but I don't like it that. Yeah, you don't pay taxes, no way, cuz. You know what I'm saying? You work under the table. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like that don't help yo. That ain't help you at all. That don't help her at all, cuz. Yeah, I think she a better auction, man. Like, come on, bro. What is you talking about, cuz? Let me speed it up.
We about to get to the meat and potatoes, man. My man look like he eat a lot of meat and potatoes.
He's from Cali too. Cali gotta hold this L, bro. Cause Cali, they be trying to act like they own business, bro. They got some clowns over there, man. They have some straight clowns over there, bro. They always try to act like they stand on business. They got some clowns over there.
Yeah, for real.
Donald Trump, okay. So you guys are in the perfect attire. we got the Kamala Harris merch right here.
Absolutely.
We voting for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Are you kidding?
Power my ass.
Kamala Harris.
Definitely Kamala Harris.
In the house, yes.
Why is that? Why are we voting for Kamala Harris?
Well, number one, she talks about what we've lived. I'm an educator some 40 years. And what we've lived is lifting people up, not tearing them down. And he seems to specialize in that.
So he's an educator. So he's either a teacher or a principal.
Mm-hmm.
He's responsible
administrator
for the future of your children. Right. He's responsible for the future of children in California.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that when you hear this man's answers to these questions. He is responsible for the education of the next generations. He's been doing this for 40 years, so he's already got 2 generations under his belt.
Hey, bro, I'm very for sure. I'm almost possible my man ain't giving no damn lectures. He ain't teaching no classes, dude. He a principal. He's something like that. Just getting that money. You know what I'm saying? He probably got like $150,000, $200,000 salary, milking off the system.
Bro,
he ain't teaching shit. I don't believe my man is teaching a goddamn thing, bro. Absolutely not. He over gym. Gym.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe he a gym teacher, but he can't even get you physical fit ready, man.
Bro, I don't think my man doing teaching a course at all, bro. I guarantee you. But anyway, go ahead. Roll that beautiful bean.
Tearing people down. And I am the absolute opposite. and he epitomizes everything that I've stood against and everything that I've trained and worked with my students to do. And that is to lift up one another and to achieve greatness and great heights and be told that they can always do well and do the best. And do the best and be the best.
And you guys, she's obviously been heavily involved in the Biden administration. What was your favorite accomplishment of hers as Vice President of the United States?
As Vice President of the United States, she was bold enough to go to the border and tell people to stay home. People forget that. and in fact, more so, there are a lot of people who are misinformed, and there's a lot of misinformation going around. And so let's set the record straight, if I may. And that is, Trump didn't give you a dime, people. That was the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration that gave you 20.
So under Trump, my taxes went down. Under Trump, the freaking standard deduction for individuals and families doubled, which helped a lot of people with their tax liability and burden. Under Trump, you know what I'm saying? My salary, my, you know what I mean? Like, again, I was, currently I'm not working right now, but I've worked as a professional for 11 years in the IT sector, in the automotive industry specifically. I earned, from those years, I started off at 55 and went all the way up to 93. You know what I'm saying? That from the time I was working with General Motors. So I'm in that bracket, you know what I mean? And believe you me, under Trump, my tax burden went down. I got more take-home pay. And so I can just explain, just going off my history, right? Or what I saw, I did see it change. Under Trump is when those checks went out. I didn't happen during, or did it happen in Biden? I'm not for sure, but I don't remember getting the check.
So Trump, you got the majority of your checks. And they
Mhm.
remembered everybody was like, Trump was saying, we'll give you $2,000 checks or whatever.
Yeah.
If you win.
Do my Biden. Biden said that, right?
Well, no, it was Trump, because remember, Trump was trying to give $2,000 checks.
Mm-hmm.
And
then it been like,
he ended up
like
giving
50 or something.
It was like 12 the second time or the third time. It was like 1,200.
Okay.
And he was trying to get 2,000, but like Nancy Pelosi or whatever, it was like 1,200, or it was either 800 or 1,200. Mm-hmm. And then when Biden got in office, because there was we'll get $2,000 checks. He gave whatever the difference was to make $2,000.
Got it.
And everybody who was on the TV after that was like, he gave $2,000 total, or he's responsible for $2,000 total. And so it didn't give the money that people thought.
It was between what Trump and Biden that made up to 2,000.
Right. That made it 2,000 when Trump was talking about $2,000 straight up.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't get none of that shit.
Biden administration. Oh, you did?
No, I didn't get any of that. None of that, because I was, priced out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't get any of that, bro. All they did was they did send out what they did do. They had collected against my student loans. I had a check that they had collected against my student loans, and they sent me that check back. So I ended up getting like $650 back, because they canceled all, they were canceling all the student loans at that time or wherever. So that's the only thing that I could receive out of any of that. I ain't get no $650. I ain't get no $1,200. I ain't get shit, because again, I wasn't making enough. I was making too much to get that. You know what I'm saying? So for like a person in my bracket, Trump's tax policies helped me out, because one, you know what I mean, I'm a single man, you know what I mean, and I don't get to claim any of my kids. so you know what I mean. So I'm getting taxed the most. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in a higher bracket. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying. So Trump should help me out. I'm gonna be just 100%. You know what I'm saying? I'm being fair and honest. You know what I mean? Like Trump should help I was getting more take home pay, because those tax brackets went down. Like all of them went down. All of the the progressive tax brackets went down. So I was getting more. I was getting more back, per check.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is just completely rewriting history, essentially, and so he's going to have a little blurb up on the bottom of the screen that actually tells you the amounts of money.
Yeah. You can go ahead.
$2,300 and $1,500. No one else.
Like it says, pandemic stimulus payments were issued mid-April 2020 and December 2020 under President Trump. So again, December 2020 was after the election. Biden was coming in. And like I said, the amounts, they didn't equal. The second time around, they didn't equal $2,000. They equaled $2,000 combined, but it wasn't $2,000 like they had promised, or that people
right. That's what I remember. Yeah.
Gonna have.
Stop playing. This is not a game.
Hey, I got a question for you. When it comes to the border, Kamala Harris overlooking the border, telling them not to come, that is seemingly more of a sore subject when it comes to this administration. Worst border crisis in American history. And when she visited the border, she didn't visit the spot where the border crisis was happening. What are your thoughts about that? Is that something to tout for this for Kamala Harris, when this is the worst border crisis in American history that we've seen under this administration? What do you think?
And more misinformation, and from you. That's funny.
There we go with that
let's
word.
Make it clear.
Misinformation,
All right,
bro.
just so you understand.
I don't think that was
The
misinformation.
Biden, it is.
You guys, let's take a few moments to talk about my good friends.
Speed past this, but yeah, they let's see how I get past this. But yeah, man, they love saying stuff like that, repeating words that they obviously have no grasp of, because he's calling it disinformation or misinformation when that is what happened. I've been trying to find a show we did where we were talking about it a couple years back, when they were saying that Kamala Harris was going to be the border czar, and I wanted to try to find something that kind of went into we talked about it, and I said I think it's a setup personally, because there's no way she's going to be able to get the border under control. So that, to me, that seems like some way that they're going to that Biden is trying to make sure that she don't try to run for president against him, like what's happening now. It seems like in a lot of ways he's trying to really destroy her campaign this time around. He keeps trying to link her to him. He keeps trying to talk about how they're doing things together, and she's trying to separate herself from the Biden administration. And he is bringing her. Yeah, but he's bringing her
trying to separate.
But she's trying to separate the negative parts. The good parts she wants credit for. But he's giving her credit for everything. We did all this together. And a lot of the stuff that he's giving her credit for, she don't want to take the credit for because it ain't good. So, it's interesting. But here, I think
go ahead, man. You do your analysis, man. I'm going to be right back. I got to check on my daughter, bro.
Okay.
Back on this video.
The Biden administration inherited that border crisis. You remember the one that Trump said that he was going to build a big wall? I think he made it about 5 feet. Not just that. It was so garbage, that I think I could have made it through that wall. All I had to do was just open the door. But not just that. It was also done in a situation where they were advocating, not just advocating, but they also had a, what is that called? A bill that they were going to strengthen the border. And in fact, that bill didn't even come from them. It came from Congress.
So I just want to say the weird thing, the weird thing is just like when you hear him saying, like, I could have got over the border. When Trump was saying, I'm gonna build a wall, I'm gonna build such a wall or whatever, Mexico gonna pay for it. That was like a campaign, like a campaign talking point. Everybody in the liberal media said that was a bad idea because most people get over here by plane. They don't get over here through the wall. So a plane is not going to stop these people. Most people who are in America illegally are here because they've overstayed their visas, whatever. And so he faced opposition. The former Mexican president, Vicente Fox, said Mexico's not paying for the wall. He wasn't even the president at the time. He was saying Mexico's not paying for the effing wall, and American liberals made him a hero in the United States because he told Donald Trump that America's not paying for the wall. And so to hear somebody who's a Kamala Harris supporter, most likely a Joe Biden supporter, definitely an Obama supporter, to hear somebody like this to say these things, Trump didn't make the border better. They inherited a crisis. He was impeded at every instance. I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. I'm not saying that. I mean, I've made my opinion about immigration known on this channel, right? Enough that I think you all understand where I feel on the topic of immigration. But he has said consistently that he wanted to build a wall and strengthen the border and all. And when he had that Title 42, which was the COVID policy, so that you couldn't come up here because it was a state of emergency in the United States, the Democrats fought him over it. When he had the Remain in Mexico policy, they fought him over it. When he said he was going to shut down the airports, right, so that Muslims couldn't come over here, whether you thought that was racist or not, they fought him over it. When he was saying he was going to shut down planes to China and to Europe, right, because it wasn't just China. Y'all said that was racist. So every time he tried to do something, whether you thought it was a good idea or not at the time, or whether it ended up in retrospect to be a good idea, he was faced with opposition. So now to just act like, oh, well, the Democrats inherited a bad border from Trump. They inherited a bad border because they had a Democratic Congress. The Democrats had the House and the Senate. they didn't get the House. They didn't lose the House until
22.
I want to say until 2020, right?
2022.
Okay,
That's when they
Biden
lost.
had the House.
So Biden and them had that. That's how they was able to get past you know what I'm saying? All the
American Rescue
bills
Plan.
passed because Biden had the House and the Senate in his first 2 years of his term. You know, they just lost it and it was only by a small margin. You didn't have enough to filibuster, but they you know what I'm saying, and they lost it by a small. Even today, I think it's only like, you know what I'm saying, they have the Senate, but they don't have the House. But it's not like a big margin. I think it's less than 10.
Right. And so that's just, it's weird that they, like, it's a revisionist history, but you do this because you have to support a side. You're not interested in what's true. You're supporting a side. We on this channel, we try to support the truth, even if it may seem inconvenient, right? That's a euphemism that I don't like, because the truth isn't inconvenient. The truth is just the truth. If you can't handle it, it's inconvenient. But the truth is the truth.
Right.
Yeah, right. It ain't inconvenient. It's just the truth.
Right.
You know, this guy is unhinged. That's the truth.
And they were with the bill, prepared to sign. They negotiated and everything else. And guess what? Donald Trump called up all his buddies and said, don't vote for it because I want them to seem like failures. Guess what? They're not. They're not failures. And in fact, when Donald Trump
how did they inherit the border crisis? If you don't mind me asking.
Refused to put out that vaccine for the coronavirus and killed some 658,000 people.
That's not true.
My friends that I went to college with also included. When that happened.
Right. Because even with that, I can show you clips of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden saying, I'm not taking that vaccine. I'm not taking that Trump vaccine. Who gonna take it? You gonna take it? So if anything, if anyone is to blame for any skepticism about the vaccine, it's Joe Biden. It's Kamala Harris, because they have been on record saying they wouldn't take it. And then after they won and they got in office, then they want to enforce a mandate. But again, you know, when your objective is to push a narrative, this is the kind of stuff you do. You just repeat BS. That's what I'm saying. As much as I would like to not resort to ad hominem attacks, because I'm one of those people who believes that, ad hominem attacks are usually a sign that you don't have a credible point to stand on.
Right.
Refuting arguments. But this guy is unhinged in a way that I feel like, give me some grace. His arguments are poor and he's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? He's ridiculous. And I wouldn't want him to be my kid's janitor at their school, let alone a principal or an administrator or a teacher. You know what I'm saying? My 9-year-old read more than he does. I know she does. And you want to know how I know she does? Because he's not saying anything that leads me to believe he's ever read a newspaper or any articles online or nothing.
He's just watching MSNBC, man. That's all he's watching. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's just watching MSNBC all day. That's where he gets his news from. And he's just the other side of what a Trump voter would be. You know what I mean? With them watching Fox. Yeah, just blue MAGA, man. Like MAGA. Check said, blue MAGA.
That's it. And that's the thing. The Democrats want to act like they're better than Republicans, and you're not. You're worse. And you want to know why you're worse? Because you think you're better and you pretend to be better and you're the same.
Yep.
And that makes you worse. It's not as bad to understand your limitations and that you're kind of weird and you have an unhealthy obsession with these personalities. But the problem is that you cannot admit it, and you have these weird obsessions with these personalities and these tendencies and proclivities. That's the problem. That's why you're worse.
Right. Because they think they don't. Many of them don't think they have it. They think they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, they are in this delusion that they aren't that way when they are.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came in office and put that vaccine out. So let's stop playing. This is not a game. And guess what? This is about lives.
Do you mind if I touch on the border crisis, though?
You tried.
I just want to say, you know, I had my tinfoil Kofi on earlier. You know how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I know he got all his shots. I know he got all his shots. I know he's boosted up.
Yeah.
I know he's completely up to date, double, triple, quadruple boosted. I can see the myocarditis. I can see it on him. I can see it on him. Okay. I'm surprised he don't have a mask on. The little girl got a mask on. There's the logical consistency. She got a mask on. Y'all don't have masks on. Y'all all together. When y'all go home, when y'all do anything, what's the difference? Y'all sharing the same air. You're sharing the same space. If you get sick and your wife or this lady, because you don't have a ring on, if this lady you with and you get sick and y'all go somewhere with the little girl in private, she gonna get sick. But again, this is the logical consistency that I would expect of these type of people. You know,
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, bro.
And I
gotta no. But how did they inherit it? Yeah, how did they inherit it?
They
So that
inherited
is
because
The border crisis.
how long have people been coming across the border?
But under Trump's administration,
How long
they were
have
seeing
people
a
been coming-
50-year low of border crossings, and then jumped to 8 times as much.
Let's just be
So
clear. Let's just
that's
be
a lie?
clear. Yeah.
Why is that a lie?
Well, let me
flat out
finish.
lie.
She said, how long people been coming across the border? 250 years. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? How long have people been coming across the border? Is this really you know what I'm saying? But the levels that people have to go to try to justify their candidate of choice. And the Republicans do the same thing because Trump is responsible for creating this vaccine. The only thing he did not do was mandate it. Mm-hmm. He gave them the authority to create it in record time. He gave them the authority to get all this immunity stuff for the companies. All of that. The only thing he didn't do was force people to take it if they didn't want it. That's it.
Right.
But listen, how long has that been? Like, if when you use logic like that, when you use such great spans of time, that's like saying, well, you can't call Joe Biden a racist because how many racists we didn't have? how long have we had a race problem in America? Oh, well, I guess when you put it that way.
All right. All right.
Like, I'm sorry.
That's actually not a lie. That's a fact.
Let's just be clear.
Your facts are lies.
During the Trump
you know where I got that fact from?
That's the reason why people don't really want to vote for Harris, because men disrespect women.
Well, ma'am, I'm just trying to get one point out.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Away.
Stop there, bro. Stop there. This is the bullshit. This is the bullshit, man. This is the bullshit, bro. You know what I mean? That's what men. You know what I mean? Like it's like, are you serious? This first and foremost, her husband just said that his facts are lies, and so he's trying to address that, and then she's saying that, oh well, you're ignoring me. You ate up. Your husband interjected in your and you and the reporters or the interviewers' conversation to make a claim that he was lying. So of course he's wanted to address that, but no, she's skipping that. Oh well, you're being a misogynist by not talking about me.
Right.
It's just like, what, bro? It's like, oh, if you don't like Harris, like I'll when we go to show my Facebook comments, right? Oh, I hate women because you know what I'm saying. I think because I'm talking the truth about K. Harris. You know what I mean? Well, you haven't said anything bad about Trump. Well, I'm not talking about Trump. What does that have to do with the conversation or the argument? I'm talking about Harris, and then you know what I'm saying. Well, why would I say about Trump? Trump is not who I'm talking about. It's just like the logical fallacy, man, of a lot of these these vote blue no matter who type people is just beyond me, man. You can go ahead if you don't have anything,
Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Oh, Donald Trump with the that bitch. That bitch is
Why no to Kamala?
bro. She's been in office for 4 years and she hasn't done. Yeah. What has she done?
I had somebody telling me that she did a great job with the border crisis. What do you think about that?
What the? No. I disagree.
Excuse me, miss. Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Trump. Harris. Yep. Why is that?
Because I'm a Democrat. Man, lifelong.
Canadian, but Kamala all the way.
Trump.
Donald Trump. Definitely Kamala.
Donald Trump. Are we doing Kamala Harris or Donald Trump?
I'm gonna speed it up because I think they go back to that couple again. Unless you want to go to something else.
Nah, man, you go ahead, man. But for whatever reason, it's really choppy still, bro. Is it choppy on your side, or is it coming? It's coming through clean on your side.
It's coming through clean on my side. If you want to do the videos from now on, we can.
No,
I don't know why
it's okay. It's showing. Yeah, I don't know. It could be my internet, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was just wondering how was it presented to you from your side, because it's like a skippy or something. Yeah, but you keep going because actually I want to.
During the Biden and Harris administration.
Okay, I'll play it.
Yeah. They have those people who crossed the border and got separated from their children. They make sure that they got placed to where they're supposed to be, placed with their parents. Some of them were not placed because they were separated or they couldn't find their parents. But Trump didn't do that. He's the one who caused the problem. Harris is the one invited.
The separation was not Donald Trump's policy.
It happened during his administration.
It was already in place. He actually ended that by executive order.
No, he didn't end it.
The family separation.
If he ended.
Her husband's still talking.
You're right.
Talking about you're not letting me talk, and I'm a woman or whatever. But her husband's still talking.
Right.
I mean, again, he's given objective facts about the situation, about the family separation or whatever. That wasn't Obama deported more people than Trump did. Yeah. Obama really deported people. He built them cages and all that stuff. They've been there a long time. And so, this whole idea that Trump is solely responsible for the separation at the border, just on the face of it, because we've talked about this before. But when our families was broken up because people went to jail, nobody had sympathy for the kids. The border, it was considered a criminal offense to illegally cross the border. So you went to jail. So it was a separation because kids can't go to jail for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Being dragged along the border. But this whole idea that you want to portray it as though it's some great crime, when my people went to prison, my cousins didn't go to jail with their parent. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a weird double standard that people want to have to try to portray Trump in this evil light, and simultaneously they don't have any logical consistency to understand, to contextualize why this is happening in the first place. On top of just lying, right? On top of just the objective lying. Go get a drink of water. Well, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Sure. Then why are you now saying that there's a problem now? He didn't end border crisis. If that's the case, you wouldn't be saying there's a problem now.
You were just talking about family separation, and now we're talking about the border crisis.
During the border crisis, yes. Okay. Don't you remember all those families that were separated?
So the numbers that we're seeing right now we've never seen numbers like this in the history of the United States.
Well, people are coming across. No president have ended it. Not Trump. Not Biden, not Obama, not Bush. So it's not just their problem, it's our problem.
Right.
Okay. So when are we gonna do something about it?
Well, the reason
and so they had that God's army in Texas was going down to the border to help the National Guard deal with the migrant crisis.
Yeah, actually I got some clips I got something I want to show. Why that goes more specific, because what happens is that a lot of people don't know the specific details about what the Biden administration did why is it so worse than it is now. So Fresh and Fit had this guy he's an actual border agent, and he goes into explanation specifically about why the situation has gotten worse than previous. You got to go.
Well, I'm just getting the water. I can still hear you, but I'm gonna step back right quick. Okay. Can't hear it. Can't hear it.
You can't hear it. I freaking shared the. Hold on, man. Present.
Can't hear it.
Share screen. I have also share tab audio. So yeah, I'm gonna say entire screen. Oh, okay. That's the reason why. My bad. I'm gonna go back. So
what station are you stationed out of? And then what kind of made you say, like, what was the line that was crossed through? Like, I got to come forward about this.
I think it was just an accumulation over time and just seeing all the people getting in and seeing the news stories of these women. And I want to read their names that got killed by people that we vetted and let into the country.
Gotcha. What station? Just so the audience knows.
Yeah, I'm at Newport Station up in Swan Sector in Vermont, but which is a very busy sector right now. But I was originally down in Casa Grande Station in Arizona.
Okay. And how many illegal aliens would you say were coming through that sector every?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to put a number on, but I'm at thousands. Yeah, I mean,
it's one of the bigger sectors in the country.
Tucson sector is massive. Yeah, Tucson sector is huge. You got big stations with 300-400 agents each.
And let me kind of explain that to audience. So, guys, the way Border Patrol works is they have sectors, right? And in those sectors, you have different Border Patrol stations. Like when I was in Texas, right, we had the Laredo sector where you had Border Patrol North, Border Patrol South, etc. And that was 1,000+ agents in it. And Arizona also, since on the southwest border, huge sector, a lot of stations. Was your you said you were Tucson sector, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the busiest ones.
It's super busy. Yeah, you have Tucson Station, Casa Grande, Ajo. I mean, think about the state of Arizona just in landmass. You got to have enough people to try to cover that.
Yeah.
So you're talking.
And your particular state.
So basically, this guy, this is a guy who's currently a Border Patrol agent. He goes into further detail of why is it more than it was before. So
just so the audience understands, there's three main ways that they're processing. So they got caught by Border Patrol. There's three main avenues they got processed, guys. Expedited removal, which they're not really doing anymore. NTAORs, which they're doing a lot. And then this third one you mentioned, which is expedited removal with a credible fear. Can you explain that to the audience what that is?
Expedited removal with a credible fear.
Yeah.
So when he was talking about ERs in the past, that's just like we're basically just getting rid of you. It's going on your record. We're not holding you in prison for what you did because crossing the border is a crime.
Yeah.
Illegal entry. When we're holding you and we're going to expedite. So when you give somebody an ER, they're leaving, right? Like we're just kicking you. You're not getting held in jail. ER gone. But there's a thing called an ER with cred fear, which we're not allowed to decide cred fear or not. So we're holding you in a prison. We're holding you in a jail. It might be like we might outsource that to like a state prison.
Yeah.
So we're holding you. We catch you. We're holding you. But now you get a chance with a lawyer that you get for free if you want, or yourself. Go talk to an asylum officer, and they decide if you have credible fear. If they say you have credible fear, you're still allowed to stay.
What is credible fear?
Good question. Really good question. So credible fear. It's a very I'm glad you asked that. It's an ambiguous term. Basically, it could be, I can't go back. They're going to kill me, or I have political things. So it's like almost claiming asylum.
Okay.
It's like I have credible fear, and then if it's true, then you get asylum. That's why you go see him.
So the Biden-Harris administration allow more of these types of entries into the country. Hence, that's why we're seeing this increase. Whereas under the Trump administration, it was like catch, release, go back, kick you out, go back to your original country or where you came from. You're getting kicked out. But policies that were made, that were chosen by the Biden and Harris administration, has allowed for more of them to come in. And so that was a policy choice that was different than what was under Trump. That's why we're seeing this increase, because they're allowing them to use the system to stay.
So I could be a killer, be a good actor, and say, oh, they're going to do this to me when I go back.
Yeah.
But you know what?
You could.
You got my back, right, Doc?
Yeah.
And I stay.
You could, theoretically.
Yeah.
And that's crazy with the kids. So you're telling me they're not collecting any biometrics on the children?
When you say under 14, which is the ones that you need to be collecting the data on. So if I change nothing else, we got to start taking bio data of children.
Because imagine a young guy, a kid as a guy, right? Yeah. At 14 years old or 13 years old. They're probably doing crimes back home.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen in the news, and I'm pretty sure this is the case, and I saw this. So it looks, I don't want to speak out of turn. We don't even have Venezuela's criminal stuff. We can't even see if you committed crimes in Venezuela.
Yeah.
You could be a murderer over there. We don't and charged for it and got out of jail. We don't know. We can't look into that.
There's countries that will
They were like shifting it sector to sector. So like we were still doing some ERs.
So you said Eagle Pass. You saw certain stations starting to do it.
Then we would get mandated to go help, dude. So that's the other beast of it. We'd go get mandated to go. You have to be away from your family. That's why guys on the northern border upset. Like I got sent to Yuma. You get mandated to go to another state. So now guys are losing their marriages over helping these people in the country. You better help these people in the country, and you better go live there. Your wife, don't worry about her and your kids. They need help getting NTAORs. So we're being forced to go to these tents to help people get in and do the paperwork.
Yeah.
Away from your family. Guys were going on 30-day rotation 6 months out of the year.
Oh, damn.
And so I seen it happen. I got mandated.
So let me explain this to the audience as well. So guys, whenever there's a border crisis, and this happens like clockwork every single time during I know you're going to stay apolitical, but I'll say it to the audience. Anytime there's Democrat and there's fucking always a border crisis, right? And what ends up happening when there's a border crisis is certain Border Patrol stations get overwhelmed with people coming in. We're talking thousands, lines like going for like a mile. So what ends up happening is they don't have enough people to deal with that. So they call Border Patrol agents from other sectors that aren't as busy, whether it's up north, maybe Florida, other stations that aren't like slammed, and they tell them, you guys got to come over to help us. So these agents come in and fly in, help out. And the thing is that the whole NTAOR thing that I explained to you guys, it's a very long file. It takes a lot of.
Do you want me to go back over that? Did you hear that part? The NTAOR, like it's a different classification. Basically, like the reason why we're seeing all these border crossings because it's how the administration started classifying and dealing with the people who are coming over. You know what I mean? It used to be where Myron was saying it used to be that to have that particular type of the NTOR. You would have to be like, hey, you helping with like a, drug bust, you got some credible information against maybe or what have you. But now it's completely, they're using these for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back here where they kind of explain it.
Okay.
Alien file on you, which is when he was mentioning file. That's what he means. You get an alien number. It's a 9-digit number, AO, whatever the hell it is. And then it's a 9-digit number. And that is going to be your alien registration number, right? And it used to be, right? This is where my mind got blown actually speaking to him. Most of the time there was a policy, and this was under Trump. Alien comes in, you're getting something called an expedited removal, an ER, okay? That means you are getting sent back within 2 weeks to Mexico, wherever the fuck you came from, right? Now, they're doing something called, which is fucking crazy to me that they're doing this now, something called a notice to appear, release on recognizance, NTAOR, right?
You see what I'm saying? So notice to appear. Basically, you're gonna say, hey, I'm scared of my life. I'm scared for my life or whatever. Now you gotta go see a judge. But the docket is so far back, they can't keep these people locked up because the dockets are, overwhelmed, right? You know what I'm saying? So, release on your own. If you ever been in jail,
that's like the catch and release they're talking about.
Right. And that's what's going on. Right. So that was a policy change. That was a policy change that the Harris and, the Biden and Harris administration did. Hence, that's why all these people are coming over now. You know what I mean? Like that's the sticky details, the details that nobody really knows. Like, well, why is it different? Oh, they just been coming. They've always been coming. No, they're treating it different. Hence, that's why they're coming. You know what I'm saying? And if they appear, and they get released into the community. You know what I'm saying? You come on your own because there's no bond. There's nothing that was like, hey, I got it. I'm out on bond. Like, when you go to jail, the whole purpose of a bond is to make sure you come back to court. You know what I'm saying? But if you get released on your own reconnaissance, and civilian terms is ORR, released on your own reconnaissance, right? That means you have no bond. You're gonna say, hey, I'm gonna show back up on when it's court date. But these people get fanned out. They don't know where to go. You know what I'm saying? And and they do whatever, man. So he's like, when did it start? Illegal, blah blah blah. Why is suicide rate so high? My border patrol. I just want to say, okay, here we go.
CBP1, can you tell the people what that is? Because I've never even heard of this. Can you tell the people what this is?
And I don't want to get caught up in technicalities, be wrong. That's why I'm a little scared to openly speak because I'm not an expert. I've been like I was telling Walter, he's like, I'm working, bro. I don't have time to know about this. Yeah. I'm working too, so I'm not, I don't work on the CBP1. From what I understand, it's people getting flown from, they're not even okay. Aren't you supposed to present yourself at the port, Myron?
Yes.
So the other thing is they're not, when you present yourself for asylum claim, because that's what these NTAORs are. They're saying, I want an asylum. They're actively trying to get away a lot of times. And then they're saying claiming asylum.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that. Claiming asylum, you go to a port, you show up and say, I need asylum.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get it from a third country. So how are you claiming asylum when you're in Canada? You're already safe in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Like, you know what a port is? Like, if like you're gonna like cross, there's like a lane.
Yeah. I could explain it to the people.
Please.
Guys, a port of entry could be anywhere where you're able to illegally enter the United States. It could be an airport. It could be a port of entry where you're driving in, etc. It's POE is what they call it, port of entry. And at these port of entries, you're going to see guys in blue uniforms, CBP, Office of Field Operations Officers. These guys are the ones that allow you in legally. Now, if you see green uniform, Border Patrol, that means you shouldn't be coming in the United States here. So that's kind of the easy way I explain it to people.
And then they claim an asylum from that.
Yeah.
So then but that's like, well, you tried to cross illegally. You're not trying to claim asylum.
Yeah.
That's a backup plan. Should negate that. Now CBP 1, they're flying them in from different countries.
Directly?
Direct.
What the fuck?
So this is how the Haitians got into Springfield. You know what I'm saying? So when JD Vance was like, yeah, it's legal, but you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying?
You have to finagle the system because that's what the chicks on the moderators. Oh no, that's legal. And it's like,
legal.
yeah, legal.
Well,
That's
that's
not the
because
normal policy.
Well, it's not normal, but you know what I mean. But that's because the Biden. This is something that the Biden administration has allowed. Now they could just go use this app. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's going. I think he's going to go into it.
Direct. So they're not even having to go through the trouble of going to a port of entry in America. They're just getting a flight paid for by the taxpayer. And a lot of times these flights like land in the middle of the night. It's like they're doing it under the cover of darkness, bro.
What the fuck?
Like cowardly.
And this is funded by CBP?
Yeah. You could make an online appointment. Look it up. I don't want to be wrong.
Okay.
Look it up. Maybe you're doing your appointment, but I know we're flying people in. I don't know if it's connected to the CBP One app. Like, I don't want to claim I know all this stuff.
Okay.
You got to look at it. Just look into it. Like, I know it's like a funny thing to say, but like, look into it.
So the Customs Border Patrol app is where you go through the app to go through this process, bro. And they're getting, like you said, they're getting flown from their countries directly into these. That's why are the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio? You know, why would it? You would think in Miami.
You ever go up north in the summertime?
Nah.
If you ever go up like Mackinac City, all that Traverse City, nothing but Jamaicans, dog. In the summertime, they're all doing for the tourist area. They're all doing stuff at the different little tourist spots. Mackinac City, Mackinac Island, full of Jamaicans, bro. And I'm sitting here like all the hotels everywhere.
Right.
I was, and so I looked into it because I'm the kind of person where I look into stuff if I see something kind of that strikes
like
my
weird,
you know, and that's what they do. They get visas to work up there in the summertime.
In the summertime, yeah. There's a lot of country, a lot of places throughout the country. We were talking about that with Boston with the Cape Verdeans, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a reason why there's a lot of Cape Verdeans there because they were recruited. You know what I mean for labor. You know what I'm saying? And it goes seasonally. You know what I mean? And there's another Caribbean island as well that does that. But this is like on a whole different. You know what I'm saying? This is like, yo, well, you go.
Okay, so CBP is basically funding people coming in,
making it easier. Everything's to make it easier. And people say that the government. What's the one thing you hear when you go to the RMV, DMV? Oh, we're inefficient. Well, over the last 4 years, I've seen some serious efficiency to get this country filled with people that really shouldn't legally be here.
Wow.
Borders are. Anybody?
Yeah, this has been all under Kamala Harris.
Yo,
she's the border czar, right?
So all of these things have happened under Harris and Biden's. You know what I'm saying? Like these are, but they're not. Notice in the press, they're not talking about this. Like they're not going into the details of why. They just think it's just the normal flow of immigrants coming in. Like no, the way they're administering this whole system is reason why we're seeing this influx. Like they purposely are drawing people in with these policies, you know what I'm saying? You know, they're funding them. You know, obviously, how are they getting debit cards? How are they getting, you know what I'm saying? That's through the government. These people don't know, you know what I'm saying? These people don't even speak the language. So where would they know to go to get a debit card? Where would they know to go to get to get put in hotels and things of that nature? You know what I'm saying? Like they're being helped to do so. You know, and then you know when people it comes a hurricane. Oh no. That money isn't coming out of the FEMA pot, you know what I mean? That's coming out of another FEMA pot, but nonetheless, that's still $600-something million. You know what I'm saying? That's funding this that could have went into the disaster pot versus doing this. Yeah, this is crazy, bro.
Damn. This is what you call the downfall of America. Literally.
Well, I'm really glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
So that, and it's an election year. The American public needs to know this shit, man. Who's been in charge all this time?
Hey, look, I'm gonna pull out a little bit of my nativism right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Walter, you shouldn't be here neither, and neither should your homeboy. So I want to hear that. You know,
right.
The downfall of America involves you too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man. Exactly, bro.
So,
but yeah,
a little bit of my nativism, but I'll pull it back.
Let's find the kids, man. Yeah. So okay, I'll repeat this one more time while Zach finds the names. When you're caught by immigration, right? Let's say Border Patrol. There's many ways that they can process you to either allow you to stay in the country or to be deported, right? You have to be encountered. You get something called an alien registration number, and then from there they process you in the A file depending on how you came in. So what's going on right now is it used to be you come in illegally, you're getting something called an expedited removal, which basically means you're going to get removed from the United States expeditiously within 2 weeks. And that's probably the fastest and most efficient way to deport you, right? Or sometimes they have a voluntary return as well. But an expedited removal, it shows the record, you have your alien number, etc. It's quick, efficient. Then they have something called an NTAR, notice to appear, release unknown recognizance, right? And that means that you're going to see an immigration judge at a later time, and that judge is going to dictate your fate, whether you get to stay or not. Remember, guys, there's independent courts for the immigration system itself where you're going to see an immigration judge. The reason why that one is what people like is because you might not see an immigration judge for years. And what's going to happen is when you do the NTAOR, they're going to send you somewhere in the United States where you have family, right? You'll stay with them because you're not supposed to be working, wink, wink, which they normally do anyway. And you're going to wait until you have your court date with that immigration judge based on the jurisdiction that you're staying in. But it might take years because immigration courts are backed up. That's when these people do the stupid shit that they do and they commit the crimes. And then that's assuming they even stay at the address that they put in the paperwork. 9 out of 10 times they don't. They go somewhere else.
Why would you
So they're
stay?
gone on the
Why would
fucking
you?
wind. Why would you stay?
Yeah.
So, and this is why NTAORs were so hard to come by, and you needed like a real good reason to give somebody one. Like I gave you guys the example. I would have informants. I want to sign them up. Border Patrol, can you help me out here? I want to sign this guy up. Can we do an NTAOR? They would literally tell me, no, you do it yourself. We don't want the liability. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I take him. They release him to my custody. I handcuff him. I take him to the office. I fucking process him, give him the NTAOR, and then he goes and he's my problem. Border Patrol wouldn't do it. Fast forward fucking 4 years. Now they're giving NTAORs to fucking gang members.
Single adult males, bro, coming from all these countries, thousands, millions of people.
So they're giving these NTAORs, and then on top of that, they've created an infrastructure to expedite it, including creating positions, bringing in other agencies, bringing in
mandating other agencies like HSI.
They're making HSI agents help process these motherfuckers.
FPS, Federal Protective Air Marshal. So now you're less safe in the sky. You know, there's just less. There's less.
They're pulling guys from what they should be doing to help with this fucking border crisis, but they're not even really securing the border. They're just letting them come in. So we're basically making it more efficient to allow illegal aliens to come into the country
at a grand scale. This isn't like just a little, yeah.
So that's what an NTAOR is, guys.
So yeah, I think we covered that with ad nauseum. But yeah, that is the change. That's the change. That is what is that fundamentally is different. That's not just a long-term thing that, you know what I'm saying, that that's been going on for all these years. No, that's a policy difference. That's a, you know what I'm saying, a policy difference that is causing this, how they're treating it. And their administration did that. And Kamala has to take the heat for that. You know what I mean? Quote unquote, she was the border czar. Whether she had to go along with what Biden said or it was her idea, we don't know. But nonetheless, she's part of it. You know what I'm saying? So she got to wear that. But notice that never in the media don't ever go into that nitty gritty detail. They don't never go into all of, you know, the true explanation. Like, okay, why is it up so much? What caused that to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, yeah, y'all letting these people in. Ultimately,
well, yeah, I mean, they just point the finger at the previous administration. Like, that's just a legitimate excuse that you can have this late in the game. When even people saying, you know, Kamala Harris trying to close the border. Yeah, but it's 3.5 years into it. They try to do something. They waited at least 3 years until into the administration's first term before they actually said anything about the border at all. So, I mean, there's I think Glenn Greenwald did a little bit of like a investigation about how they are giving out cell phones and stuff, and they're using the cell phones to track people. So, like, they're giving them to the migrants and then using that to track where they go and stuff, and it's opening up wider questions about privacy and how that can eventually be used against American citizens and what that all means. But I mean, a lot of when you look at the neoliberal policy positions that create this kind of system, where like I was just in Boston, and you got a chance to really get to see a lot of immigrants, right, in Boston who live, work there, whatever, move there, way more than we get here.
Right.
And what it just goes to show you is like all these northern cities, New York, Boston, DC, Philadelphia,
yeah,
they are sustained by immigrant populations, people who come in, who will accept poor living conditions, poor working conditions, poor wages for the opportunity to be in the United States in a way that working class Americans won't, black or white, right?
Right.
And so it's a belief that purely from the fact of being able to live in the United States, you've given people so much that they have no right to complain, and everybody should just be able to live happy because you live happy because you got money and a good job or whatever else. And that's the problem with that mentality. Neoliberal mentality perpetuates this system. They work hand in glove with the conservative agenda to destabilize these countries. And the neoliberal says, well, it's okay. Everybody can come to America and live in our liberal democracy and partake in the American dream that doesn't exist for the vast majority of us, right? And you still think you're a good person.
Yeah. So I went ahead and pivot on to Kamala Harris and her word salad.
Look at some of the word salad. Like this desperate Hail Mary pass fails. So she goes on Call Her Daddy, which I've got a whole separate episode dedicated to because it's such a train wreck. I just know you're going to love it. Here she is on 60 Minutes. Kamala, in a pathetic attempt to not piss off her pro-Hamas base, refuses to answer if Benjamin Netanyahu is an ally. Now, generally, I would say an ally is someone that reciprocates, okay, not just takes American tax dollars by the billion every year. But hey, I'm just some Midwestern guy in a hoodie. Wait a minute. I could be a senator.
Do we have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I think, with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes.
Why? I've got nothing against Jewish people. I've got mad love for them. You're a good person. I don't really care where you're from or what your religion is. That stuff just doesn't matter to me. But like,
it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Literally what?
Like, what? What are you? What? Like, serious, bro? And people will sit up there and tell you that this chick is the most qualified. In your face, man. In your face will tell you this BS, bro. And when you call her out on this bull, you like, what? That's the answer we get talking about. Like, are you serious? Are you freaking serious? This is the most qualified? This is better than Trump? Oh man, let's go back to it, bro.
and I think it's important to understand that what you're not saying that Trump is better, but you're just saying this ain't better than Trump. It's a dead heat at the best. It's a dead heat, right? Because the policy is not going to change either way. But at least Trump, at least Biden can talk, right? This guy's a potato brain. He didn't have this much of a problem getting words out, getting a coherent sentence out. And he forgot we hold these truths to be self-evident. he forgot that he's been in government for 50 years. You see what I'm saying? It's sad.
I mean, like, what? But we're dealing with the real world here. How are you going to get this through Congress?
My plan is about saying that when you invest in small businesses,
Her plan is
you
about saying
invest in the
things.
middle class and you strengthen America's economy. Small businesses are part of the backbone of America's economy.
But pardon me, Madam Vice President, the question was, how are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes. It is not right.
That's not going to
that
happen.
Teachers and nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporate.
By the way, they're not, right? Okay. Billionaires and these big corporations pay more into the tax system than the
So I ain't co-signing what this dude is saying. He's like, you know, he's a gamer guy. He covers like politics here and there. You know, he's on the right. I can't hear you, Stead. Stead, you're muted. Stead, are you muted or I'm muted?
I was muted. Yeah, somebody called me.
Go ahead. You were saying something.
No, you go. You good? No. Somebody had called me.
You were talking to them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to us. Okay. No, I was just saying, like, I ain't co-signing what this dude. I'm only using this clip because he broke it down and it was easier. I don't have the original 60 minutes, and he already, you know, he had the different clips broken down of what she was saying. But yeah, you know, he's a right guy. He's a Trumper. So of course he's going to be like, oh, Bill, you know, the people don't, you know, corporations don't pay more. Yes, no, they don't. In relation to regular people, they don't pay.
Well, he says that too because he's trying to sell you this coffee all the time. So that's what he does, that coffee stuff. So he's trying to, you know, he considers himself some capitalist or whatever.
Yeah, right, right.
But the thing you got to also keep in mind, like you said, he's a right winger. He might not say it. They kind of say, "Oh, we're classical liberals, whatever." He's a right winger, and even he is tired of Israel.
Right. That goes to show you. You know what I'm saying? That goes to show you where we're at in this country. Yet and still, you know what I'm saying? But see, the thing is, AIPAC and all the other, you know, big time. I mean, she's with one of them. I mean, her own. That's what she sleeps with every night. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you think, you know what I mean? Which she's a huge Zionist. You know what I'm saying? Her husband's a Zionist. So you think that she's gonna do anything? You know what I'm saying? That's gonna change, or uplift, or change the course of what's happening in the Middle East? Hell no. She's gonna, you know, both sides are basically the same. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like, how is she better? I'm just, that's why they're like, well, you don't ever have to say anything. Trump is he's terrible without even having to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the point is that everybody's fixated. You know what I'm saying? Like, why talk about what everyone already knows? See, the thing is that everyone doesn't know, or they choose not to know. They choose either look the other way, or they are blind to knowing what this woman's record is, because the media is never going to press her, never going to, you know, press her. And I'm surprised my man pressed her as much as this in the 60 minutes. You know what I mean?
And I'll say, since you brought that up, just to compare the differences in the ways people are answering questions about whether they support Trump or Kamala. When people talk about Trump, they say, "Oh, the jobs, or whatever." They at least have they can speak to specific instances throughout his administration where their lives were better or different in some way that would lead you to a policy, right? They may not be able to articulate the policy. What the black lady say? What the black man say? What the black lady say his wife? Oh, she's black. And then he just told a whole bunch of lies. Like, they would have been policies, but they weren't true. One lady, oh, she looks like me. She can relate to my culture.
Yeah, right. That lady was raised as an Indian her whole life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. Just because she went to a HBCU? Like, come on, bro. Like, seriously? White people go to HBCUs too. I mean, if that's the case, we, you know, shoot, at least Rachel Dolezal, at least she was fighting for black people's rights and then, you know, pretending to be a black woman. At least she did that. She wasn't locking black women and black men up. You know what I mean? At least she did that. I'll give her that.
Bottom 50% owner. All
exactly what I'm talking about.
She's like literally. He's like, "Are you gonna blow your way through this?"
Right. You know what I mean? Whenever you get, she's a lightweight, bro. She's a lightweight, man, when it comes to policy and all of that, dude. That's what she can't, give any real explanation. And here's the thing. Now, so with that being said, now we get these type of patronizing freaking push from the right. I'm gonna cover this real quick. This is the latest commercial, towards black men, because we're so misogynistic, right? That's the reason why we don't like her, because we just don't want to vote for a woman, and we just hate black women.
The story of being black in America is filled with never-ending chapters of challenge. Driving while black, banking while black, parenting while black. But what about voting while black? They always tell you this election will be different, and it rarely is. So many promises made. Promises of economic justice and social equity that never quite make it to your pocket or your porch. But this election, there really is only one choice. This time, she is the choice. Now I know you're thinking, I've never voted for a woman and I'm not going to start now. Ask yourself, why not? And maybe you'll find it's not about her. It's about you. What you want for your family, for your future. Because if you vote for what you want, the choice becomes clear. It's Kamala. Listen to your gut. Your heart is telling you that Kamala Harris is the right person for the job.
No, my gut isn't telling me. My gut's telling me that this is a terrible person.
Hey.
She's a flip-flopper, wafer. Go ahead, bro.
I got a mom. I got 2 sisters. I got a wife. I got 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
I got like 6 aunts. I got about 5 female cousins. I don't know one female I'll vote for. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know no female I vote for nothing. Okay, but let's be honest. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. This whole argument falls on his face because nobody here is saying that they wouldn't vote for her because, I mean, you have some people saying that, but the same way the thing with her being black, the people who object to her are not objecting to her because she is or is not black. The people who object to her is not objecting to her because she is or is not a woman. The biggest concern is that we don't understand if she's capable of projecting the type of competence, right? If Hillary Clinton was running, I wouldn't vote for her because she's an evil monster.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody would question whether she had the confidence and the competency to be taken seriously at the job she's doing. We hear this woman do word salad, make word salad every time she speaks. And you think you're going to sit and talk to people from other countries who don't respect women, or maybe who come from cultures where they don't value women, and they're going to look at you and take you serious? That's the situation.
I'm voting for a woman, and her name is Dr. Jill Stein.
Right.
She's way more competent than anything. Let's do the contrast. Well, let's finish this. We want to finish this out, and then we'll go and do the contrast of somebody who's getting a very strong pushback, and see how she answers to strong, tough questions, and not softball interviews.
It's time for courage, for boldness. It's time to come together for change. It's time to be a man. Vote for a woman.
That was the most insult. It's time to be a man. Vote for a woman. Like
people didn't vote for Jill Stein in 2016 or 2020.
Exactly. Bro.
You know what I'm saying? Not to mention the Lincoln Project is a Republican. I'm not voting. I don't want to hear nothing they saying. You know what I'm saying? Republicans aren't good people to me. And I'm not even trying to make a judgment on Republican voters. I'm talking about the politicians. They're not good people to me, objectively.
So before I go on the show about Jill Stein, this is the type of, so I thought this was hilarious. You sent me this this is a thumbnail to a Tariq Nasheed video that he's gonna do in 2 days from now. I was ready to listen immediately, man. You know Tariq is off the chain. So I said, this is how y'all so-called male fans look and act. You know what I mean? Because, you know, like you just saw, you know, that was pandering and patronizing, you know what I'm saying, to black males, right? That was really insultful, that commercial, you know. So I thought this was hilarious because a lot of these guys, man, they really just ain't, you know, I really, like, if you a man and you going for this BS, bro, it just kind of like that's what this looks like. I think this is the perfect illustration. I think this is a perfect illustration of what that looks like. How you got how these people are caping for Kamala, right? You know, real zesty energy. You know what I mean? So the response, is this big enough? Let me make sure I go a little bit more. We can go into it. So so that's the picture. As you can see, zesty K-Hive, you know, just like we were talking about, man. You know, this is a popularity contest. You know what I mean? And even because again, like I said, in the face of everything that we've shown that this lady is and is not, and you still are caping for her. So so again, the only thing that this guy Anthony Go, right? The only thing he can come back with is talking about Trump. Yeah, about that. With it, like independent thinkers MAGAs are, right? We're talking about the whole thing, you know, with wearing the earpiece, right? The thing, the bandage over the ear, you know. And then I just like, bro, I'm not a Trump supporter. Y'all I said, you got to come up with something other than that as a response. You know what I mean? And I told him he's proving his point. So then, you know, we got this dude Jamal, man. This zesty. Look, don't my man look almost just like the picture?
Yeah.
Oh, zesty looking ass. You know what I'm saying? Zesty mofo. Hey, you know what I mean? Hey, we put out the thing. If you want to come up, Jamal or Anthony, you know, because I know y'all watch, you know what I'm saying? Y'all peep it out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, zesty. I'm gonna cut this clip and I'm gonna be putting it on my page for y'all. I'm talking to you, yo, zesty. Ugh, bro. So this motherfucker gonna talk about please don't waste your time with this dude. He swear he's not a Trump supporter, but I haven't seen him say one degrading thing about Trump, like he really degrades the black women who actually put work in every branch of government versus someone who said, I'm rich, so I feel like I should run for president. This dude is fake as hell, and I feel sorry for his kids. He's raising to be black men and women someday. This clown can't be a real Muslim. He's a fraud. Like what? What do you know a thing about Islam to even say what is real or not or whatever, right? And then here we go, laugh aloud. Exactly. That's their only retort. Even Charlene, now, you know what I'm saying? Well, let's look at Charlene. Charlene, who this, you know, this is a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Black women ain't going for it. You know what I'm saying? There's many sisters out here calling out Scamala. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't going for it, bro. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I told him, I said, bro, you a fraud for having such a spineless, weak, lame as you. You definitely a gyno raised bread, man. I said, how can any Muslim support what Biden Harris is currently doing to the mothers and children in Gaza and Lebanon? I'm like, she's literally practicing and aiding in genocide today, not Trump. Harris cosplaying as one of us, all while she locked up both men and women as both DA and AG, not Trump. She's the bigger problem, not Trump. And then this is my friend Sean, you know what I'm saying? I feel for him, bro. But you know, hey, he's definitely in the belly of the beast. I'm purposely not saying anything about him. Oh no, wait up. Did he must have erased his comment. He must have erased his comment because I freaking responded to him and I don't see his comment up here. Oh no. Here it is. So he's up here. He's like, except Gerard loves Trump. That's why he can't say a negative word about him. Right? You know, that's their only retort. That's their only retort. You know what I'm saying? Not nothing about, no, she didn't do this, or this was the context behind why she did this. Nothing, because her record is terrible as a DA and AG, right? You know, she really didn't do nothing as a senator. She was only a senator for one, you know what I'm saying? She doesn't for the whole term because she became vice president. because the senator seat is for 6 years. So I think she only did like 2 years. I think she got, well, maybe, yeah. I believe she may have gotten, we have to go look and see when she became a senator. I want to say it was she a senator with, what, 2018 maybe? You know what I mean? By 2020, she was with, yeah, she didn't stay senator for that long because ambition has always been what she's about. That's why she'll go with anything. One thing she says, she's for fracking, she's against fracking. She was ending border patrol, ending ICE. Now she's saying she's for ICE. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you name it. You know, she's a flip-flopper, right? I didn't get to finish responding to her. Kristen, this lady I was in the military with. But look at all the other comments though. F Kamala Harris, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, cousin, I'm with you. Kamala ain't black. You know what I mean? I don't know what this meant at Christmas cake. Look at this, Soey boys, right? You know what I'm saying? Look at all, you know what I mean? Like it's way, I mean, I've had some pushback, but it's freaking way more freaking laughs, right? Way more, 10 more, bro. You know what I'm saying? 10 more on this 37. You know what I'm saying? Either likes or laughs behind that. I got a couple of, but this is celebrity worship, bro. This is what it is from Anthony, Sean, freaking moist lips ass Jamal. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he even have an Arabic name is crazy. Yeah, bro. This, you know what I'm saying? Like this, that's all this is, dude. That's all this is, man. And it's a trip. Did we wanted to cover the oh yeah, there's another one. Freaking Anton breaks down Magic Johnson. But did you want to go ahead and I think I've done enough for the day about that. You want to go into the that show that she did just recently, the podcast that she did, Call Her Daddy, which this is wild. Wow. Hey, are you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here. I heard you.
Yep. So I was saying, man, you can go ahead. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay. Now do you want me to pull up? Because I know you played a couple pieces of it. You want me to pull up that Call Her Daddy?
Yeah. Go ahead. I didn't play any of Call Her Daddy at all. Today I haven't covered. The only thing I covered was, you know what I'm saying, was the 60
I
minutes.
know yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's 7. Let's see. Well, I played a clip from the guy who's actually breaking it down. Oh no, this is a clip of their show. But
right,
I'll play here because he gives some clips.
He gives some context of what type of show this is that she's showing up on.
Well, I'm gonna share this myself.
Okay, go ahead. Do what you want to do.
Because this is the kind of quality of show they have, right?
Right. Yeah,
Call Her Daddy. I've never seen it. I guess it's the
I
most
never heard.
popular,
It's like one of the largest. It's like one of the largest female podcasts that like they were saying this. On the Hill, or not the Hill, but Breaking Points. They were covering this, and they were giving Kamala praises for going on the show. But they were saying this show is equivalent to the female version of Rogan. I'm like, oh God, this is
and that may be true, but Joe Rogan don't talk about sex this much,
right?
You know what I'm saying,
right?
And so I feel like, just like you see with women comedians a lot of times, where it seems like they think vulgarity by itself is funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the same way with this kind of podcast, like where they just think like sex content is what's like people want to hear and talk about, and so I mean, with their audience that might be popular, but this title of this episode is called Heather McMahon: Blowjobs, Hall Passes, and Frat Daddies.
My husband's hall pass is the incredible, gorgeous model Kate Upton.
Love.
And we were down in the Turks and Caicos, and she'd like DM'd because we had mutual friends. Hey, saw you're down here. Like, would you like to come over for like a cocktail?
What a nice DM.
What a nice DM. And I hadn't gotten my husband a Christmas gift. And I leaned over and I was just like, hey, let's go to have some cocktails. I told him that my sorority sister was down there.
It's so good.
And so I get him there. I drag him over to this cocktail hour. The door answers and it's Kate's husband, Justin Verlander. And Jeff immediately, because my husband's the biggest sports fanatic, he had a full boner standing on the welcome mat of this,
he's like, my job.
Holy fuck. And I just kind of turned around. I remember it all happened in slow motion. I just kind of gave him that like fuck you, Jeff look.
And do you think he knew Kate was in there at that point, or did he just think this is a random coincidence?
No,
that Justin
he
Verlander-
immediately, as soon as he locked eyes with
He
Justin,
knew.
he was like, let's fucking go.
You're kind of like a brave woman to bring your husband into the same room as his hall pass.
Well, also, Justin Verlander is an incredible athlete, makes $1 bajillion, and is like a model himself. So I wasn't worried about it. If Jeff ever made anything weird, this guy is, an all-star athlete. I feel like he could have body checked Jeff.
No, you're right. And by the end of the time, you're probably like,
This is the quality of this conversation.
Yeah,
You
bro.
know what I'm saying?
You know, white people really into that too, man. They into that whole cucking thing. Like that's a real big thing for them.
Yeah,
That's why, like, y'all trying to make Diddy like look crazy. Like there's a whole segment of people that do that. Go to Reddit. You'd be surprised, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up this other the other guy, the clip from the other guy from that video. But the vice president of the United States went on this show. Right.
Because she felt like that demographic is who she needs to get, right? She needs to, she's going for the millennial, the Gen Z female demographic, because that's who strongly, based on their polling and everything like that, is going to go vote for her. Because like if they're listening to mindless stuff like this and following this, you know what I'm saying? That's the perfect one to pitch. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we're all about abortion, right? You know what I mean? My man covers it so cool, dude. Like he hits it up like he had the best analogy of this, bro.
And that's the thing, but like what you're saying, if all you got to offer is abortion, it makes perfect sense that you go to this porn chick or whoever to do a show, right? You don't have anything else to offer nobody. So this is the demographic you targeting. You can't go to a working man and say, I got an economic policy, right? You can't go to a single mom with kids and say, hey, I've got this plan for helping children, to improve our social safety net. You can't go to an old person and say, I've got a plan to improve your quality of life in the later stages of your life. You worked all this time, you contributed, and I've got a way to make sure that you're not without dignity this late in your life. You don't have nothing. So you go to these hoes and you talk about abortion. Yeah, you can be as much a hoe as you want to, and you can just go get an abortion.
Right. We need to make it as easy as
possible.
possible.
The conversation.
Yo,
That's
hit it up.
Conversation.
Man, check it out. Did you watch the whole clip? So you know what?
Yeah, I watched the whole clip.
You watched the whole clip. So yeah, my man put it perfectly, bro. They want to make abortion as convenient and as easy as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Even their arguments, even her argument about the accessibility part. I'm gonna try to skip around to try to find stuff.
Right.
But it's especially when you consider the way they treated people about the vaccine. It's just crazy. It's crazy. But I'm gonna start playing it now.
So what's your favorite one? I want to do one that reminds me of what it was like for me before I was Miss Important Kamala Harris. They're like, well, there is a podcast called Call Her Daddy, where they talk about college girls banging the mascot because they're bored of banging huge football players. Does that sound familiar? She's like, well, if you replace football players with mayor of San Francisco and other famous celebrities, then yes, that does sound very familiar. So Kamala Harris went on Call Her Daddy, the podcast well known for such topics as, will I have a foursome, and other interesting things like that. And I think that her performance was amazing. She really showed how dynamic, how important the things she has to say are. She is a woman that's in control. She's a woman who knows how to lead. You put her in the seat and you put her on the spot, and she is going to spit hot fire that resonates with all the American people. I'll give you a super quick taste of what that looks like.
You're telling a survivor of a crime, of a violation to their body, they don't have a right to make a decision about what happens to their body next?
Okay, so I'm sure you guys can guess where that's going, right? So she's going to use the entire time that she's on this show, right? See, let's fast forward. Let's see if she's also still talking about abortion.
Those kids. Her best friend's probably not with her because that's who's taking care of the kid.
Oh, okay, cool. Still talking about abortion. Let's see if there's anything else.
About IVF treatments and access.
Oh, again, more abortion. Let's just drag it a little further. Let's see if she's talking about abortion.
2 years ago, before Roe v. Wade was
More. Okay. So we'll watch more of that. But just so we're clear, she spent the entire time on this show talking about abortion. Now, you might wonder, well, what kind of podcast is this? Because I'm sure you guys have seen Donald Trump do lots of shows, which get amazing comments and like ratios. And I would challenge you to install the plugin where you can still see the downvotes. Okay. And then you can go look at, okay, here's the video of Trump on Theo Von, likes and dislikes, and then go read the comments. Go look at how many positive comments there are, how many negative comments there are. Okay. And then look at him on the Nelk Boys. Right. And I understand most people are going to be like, oh, right. But Theo and the Nelk Boys, those are bros. Those are like the comedy, MMA, like the comedy hybrid MMA bros. So of course people like Jesse on Fire are the ones who watch that stuff and then like it and comment. It's like, really? Well, do I watch Call Her Daddy? No, I had never seen Call Her Daddy. Now, why don't you take 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel and also like this video? I'm trying to hit 4,000 likes or 8,000 likes or I don't know, a big number. I'd actually never watched this before, okay? And I'm sure that you guys are curious now, well, what kind of podcast is Call Her Daddy? Well, like where Theo Von is kind of like comedy, so on, so forth, etc. And, the Nelk Boys are kind of the same thing. Impulsive is another one that he did where me and Logan found common ground. Actually, I'm sure I would find plenty of common ground with him as long as he stopped suing and destroying people's lives. But nonetheless, right? Another one that he did, very positive stuff. They're like personalities. Well, this is Alex. She's a personality. But like what specifically do they talk about? So this one's called Threesomes. This one's called I Effed the Mascot. Okay. And I'll let you hear a little bit of this just so you can get an idea. Like, because this is the show that Kamala Harris decided to do. Okay. This is the show where she's like, I need to get out. I need to do what Trump's doing. So I'm going to do this show. And I think it kind of makes sense if you think about it, right?
And people think I'm making this shit up. I'm like, my entire life has always been me getting in trouble with my dean of students in high school to my soccer college. Like, it was just awful.
One of my wildest nights for D1 tennis, I'm at a D1 school, because you probably have some wild nights.
Yes.
One was I had a dick appointment. Okay. Like, those nights when you go out and you already have a dick appointment?
Oh my God, it's great.
So,
bro, Joe Rogan ain't having this conversation. Theo Von ain't having this conversation.
A pussy appointment, you know what I mean? As calls lined up, you know what I mean? No, that's not
like
what it
Theo Von is not even having this and I would say Theo Von say some wild stuff.
Who is that?
He's not having this conversation.
Who's Theo Von?
You might get a conversation like this on No Jumper or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's a dude who does pornography.
Right. You know what I mean?
So I was fucking these big football dudes, and I just wasn't having fun anymore. And I said, I need to fuck the next thing closest to an athlete, but not an athlete, and that's the mascot.
Yep. Now let me tell you about the sponsor of this video, Prize Picks. If you've been watching my content,
did I turn it off?
Yeah, you did. I mean,
been having a blast. I play this game every single week during football season, during the UFC, because
I'm gonna speed it up.
Failure. She's like, well, if you replace football players with mayor of San Francisco and other famous celebrities, then yes, that does sound very familiar. They're like, okay, this is great. So what other, are there any other episodes that we could look at that, that might.
$5. Oh my God.
That is all it takes to make a difference in this election.
Screen, bro.
I can't
premium, man. You gotta get premium
appearances. I'm going to show you a portion of this where this. I mean, it is unbelievable. Okay, like I cannot explain to you how unbelievably stupid this entire thing is. Okay, because this is just the reality of the situation. Okay, this is just the reality of the situation right here. Trump has publicly said he'll veto anything that relates to limiting any access to abortion at a federal level. Straight up. He has said this outright. And yet, that is the one issue that they have focused on like a laser. Every time they ask for something specific that these people are going to do if they're elected, that's what they go to every single time. Every single time. And I want you to listen to how absolutely ludicrous and egregious this talk track is for Kamala, because, you do a podcast like this, you have to kind of go off the cuff. You get like some talking, you get some talking points, but you're having a conversation. You can't read off a teleprompter. So this is her giving in her best effort, trying to paint the current state of female reproductive rights as, like a Handmaid's Tale, right? So listen to this representation of what it's like in America now because of Trump somehow, because Supreme Court justices that he put in took away Roe v. Wade. Okay. And by the way, one part you're not going to see in this is that Alex said that they had their constitutional right to abortion taken away. Okay. I didn't know that was written into the Constitution. Pretty sure it's not. But anyway, let's continue though and listen to Kamala Harris tell this story. We're picking up where Kamala Harris said, let me tell you a personal story about someone who needs an abortion and what they have to go through now.
The majority of women who receive abortion care are mothers. So if she's in a...
Is that true? Okay, so it turns out that actually is true per the data. Let's continue.
A state, and by the way, every state in the South, except for Virginia, has an abortion ban. Okay. So imagine she's in a state with an abortion ban. 1 out of 3 women are, by the way, in our country.
And by ban, I don't think it's outright banned. I think
No,
there's
it's
just
not.
limits.
It's just limits it to a certain, so many weeks.
Like 6 weeks or
6 weeks, 16 weeks, 15 weeks, which, 6 weeks is too short. 6 weeks is too short in my opinion. But I think that's fair to, 16 weeks, that's through the first trimester going into the second. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't know you're pregnant by then and you haven't made a choice, a decision, like you really, it's beyond the zygote and embryo stage. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, like I'm not against abortion. It should be legal, rare, and limited. You know what I'm saying? That's what it should be, man. It shouldn't, this whole calling it reproductive health, like that's an oxymoron. That's like the 1984, right? We're gonna label something,
Double speak.
Double speak. You know what I mean? Like that's the point. And they, and there's many statistics that talk about like most women who get abortions, it's elective. So it's not the case of rape or incest. That's like less than 1% of women who have abortions. Most women are using abortion as a form of birth control. That's what they are. That's what they're using it for. You know what I'm saying? And it should be limited, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, it shouldn't just be willy-nilly. You know what I mean? But go ahead with the clip.
And she's a mom. So she's going to have to figure out, one, God help her if she has affordable childcare. God help her if she has paid leave.
To be clear, where she's going with this is she is about to paint the fact that a woman who wants an abortion flying to a different state is equivalent to being dropped in the middle of the Saudi desert where they're going to have to walk 58 miles without water or food somehow. Okay, like literally just listen to this. Listen how absurd this is. What she is going to describe is a woman having to get childcare and then fly to another state. Okay, now I'm not saying that's easy. I'm not even saying I have an opinion on this issue, but listen to how stupid this is.
And then she's going to have to go to the airport, stand in a TSA line, sit on a plane next to a perfect stranger to go to a city where she's never.
When you fly, the majority of the time you're sitting next to a stranger. If you fly for work, you're always sitting next to a stranger.
Right. We should outlaw that now.
We gotta wait TSA line. You gotta sit next to a stranger in a city you don't know. Like, that's life.
That's anywhere. If you was going on a trip to Cancun, that would more likely be the case. So like you said, for work or going to see a relative or whatever. So, it just really kills me. This is like, which one is it? Do women have autonomy and they have equality and everything like men and they're fully capable people? It's like they both try to patronize and I'm forgetting the word, but infantilize, right?
Infantilize.
You know what I'm saying? Treat them like babies, basically, on one hand, and then on the other hand, they have all the agency and capability and performance of men, and they could do everything a man does, and so on and so forth. And You know what I mean? Like, which one is it? Which one is it, man? You know?
Never been.
Oh my God.
To receive the care she needs, she's going to probably have to get right back on that plane because she's got those kids. Her best friend's probably not with her because that's who's taking care of the kids. To get back in that TSA line, to get back on a plane, to go home.
No! No! She's going to have to fly to another city by herself? No person should ever be forced to get on a plane for any reason to get something done that they can't get done locally.
Chicks be going to Miami
No.
to get BBLs like it ain't
Right.
tomorrow.
Out of the country. Out of the
This
country.
just
Look,
can't be the
Kanye
result
West
of
mama.
Give me
Yeah.
a
Or they go to
fucking
Turkey and get them
break,
teeth.
dude.
Right.
The
Okay.
veneers from Turkey.
That's
People go
how
all
you
the time
frame
to
that.
get
Dude,
medical
somebody should
procedures
talk
out
to
of the
you about
country
this. Like,
'cause it's
okay,
cheap.
no one's gonna fall for the old. She's gonna have to get in the TSA line. She's gonna have to go through security. She doesn't know anyone in this new city. So she has a best friend to watch a kid, but she doesn't know anybody that could maybe travel with her. Give me.
I'm
This
gonna
is
check
just
on my
so
daughter real quick, man.
stupid, dude.
Okay.
God.
And that's all if they can even afford the plane ticket.
Exactly.
Listen to the smart girl. Okay. So you have one smart person here, you know? It's amazing that like you actually have two women here. One of them's running for president and the other one does a podcast about fucking mascots. And the one that fucks mascots is the one smart enough to figure out that the more challenging way to have to go out of state would not be on a plane. It would be, who knows, ride a bike, jump on a bus, take an Amtrak. But she's smart. You put Kamala in a situation where she doesn't have cue cards. If you want to frame this tough, maybe take flying out of it. You're talking about poor women. But Kamala being a down home, you know, she understands the people. She's one of us, you guys. That's what you need to understand. Kamala's one of us, which is why she actually couldn't even put into her hypothetical scenario not being able to afford a flight. Because in her world, that, you know, like that's kind of impossible. So when I say one of us, I mean she's one of us that will never be able to even like contemplate what it's like to be a poor person because she's not that. She's never been that. And so they're not, you know, maybe they're not really human to her. But the smart girl came up with it. And again, Alex from Call Her Daddy is the smart one in the room by comparison with Kamala Harris. Unbelievable.
Or the bus ticket.
Exactly.
Because when Roe v. Wade was overturned, I remember my DMs were flooded with thousands of women begging me to help. And it's overwhelming.
You get the idea. Just for more ammunition for me to talk, though, let's just watch a little bit more of this. I fast forwarded a couple minutes at random. Let's see what she's got now.
It's outrageous.
It's outrageous. I mean, daddy gang, to put it in our TikTok terms, I have seen girls on the street walk up to men and be like, do you know where a tampon goes? Do you know how many tampons we use? Do you even know how, like, do you know what a X or Y or Z is of a part of our, and they don't know the answer.
I was the first.
Okay, listen, I want to be very clear about this, okay? Some people might get angry about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I had never seen Call Her Daddy ever. Like, I'd never once watched it. I knew what it was. I'd never watched it. I watched a couple episodes today because I wanted to, you know, pull up clips for this video. I like Alex, dude. Me and her would get along really well. She is the exact.
But I mean, let's just like this whole situation in general. If you're not a female, you won't know anything about female anatomy unless you've got like a consistent spouse or partner or something. Like, that's not really relevant for men to know. There's a lot of stuff my wife asks me about being a man that she doesn't know. It's just not relevant. There are situations that even physically or, you know, physiologically aren't necessary for you to know. But this is the kind of show that the vice president running for president wants to go on because all she has to offer is abortion, right? It is a great burden. And he's going to talk about this more as the video goes on. I might just fast forward it. But the great burden is getting on a plane, Because like they were saying, it'd be more difficult to have to drive somewhere, to take a bus, to take a train, right? To not be able to afford to fly or to have to take multiple flights. But even then, I mean, you have the option to go and do this in another state. And the hypocrisy of it all, he'll talk about a little bit later. I'll speed it up some. Let's see. Oh, close the video down again. I keep doing that. How does that keep happening?
Exact kind of girl, like this personality type. I am.
When we get done with the video, I want to show the comments from that actual, from the actual thing.
Okay, I'm gonna speed it up. I'm gonna hear where he goes because I want to speed it up to the end of this because I think the end of this is really, I think, a good comparison to the reaction.
Right.
Super good friends with, and there's zero attraction there at all because I don't know, girls that talk that much about banging dudes, it's a huge turnoff for me, which it doesn't matter anyway. I'm married regardless, but I'm just saying like that's why I can be such good friends with them is because there's nothing there at all for me. And I have a bunch of girlfriends who are just like her.
Let's see.
Why the number of people.
I get it.
Obama
the cost of rent, groceries, and utilities is too high. So here's what we're going to do about it.
Too damn high. People who support the big guy now is that size. You did this to yourselves. Okay. Now you are going to pretend like he supports that versus the Supreme Court undoing a level.
Hey, and just for the record, because everybody wanted to act like Trump made these shoes for black people, because black people are the only people who buy expensive gym shoes, I guess. He got them Trump shoes behind him. I don't know nobody black with a pair of the Trump shoes. They're $400 shoes or whatever they cost. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They always try to, oh yeah, he was trying to appeal to black people. He's stereotyping black people. I don't know nobody black who either wants those shoes or owns those shoes. Nobody.
Implement bans on people working in jobs in this particular decision. Leave it up to the states. And then the states individually made the choice to do that. Now, let me tell you what that is exactly like, okay? Let me tell you how that is identical to something that impacted my own life, okay? The federal government, the state governments decided that they were going to implement bans on people working in jobs if they did not have the jab, right? Remember that? The states did that. You want to know what I had to do? I had to leave. Okay, we had to leave the state. I also lost my job. Okay, so if you want to live in a place that where that's so important, then move there. Well, some people can't do that. Yeah, I know that, and some people also couldn't do what I had to do. And the thing is, one party actually supported the federal ban on people working there. Okay. So again, what you're actually talking about is which party believes the federal government should make.
Okay. So that's it for what I wanted to talk about with that section. But that's what that's the moral inconsistency, the logical inconsistency. Because like he said, when people who didn't want to get the vaccine, they lived in states that was really strict about it, or like that one lawyer on YouTube, Viva Fry, he's Canadian. He moved to Florida because Canada was having such strict lockdowns. He moved to Florida. He still lives in Florida right now. Now, he's from Montreal, so I don't know. It gets real cold up there. Maybe Florida's a better option for you. But I'm sure he likes something about Montreal. He hadn't left yet. This was the thing that got him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But nobody cared. When it was people who, hey, I don't want to take this vaccine. It hasn't been tested. It's experimental. I'm not comfortable with it, whatever. When you made people lose their jobs or in the military, guys in the military had to quit. They had to retire if they didn't want to get it. And nobody was sympathetic. They had a lady, I was listening to a doctor that I watch. He's an Indian doctor. I think his name is Vinay Prasad. It was either him or another one who's British, named Sunil Dan. He was talking about a lady who was denied a lung transplant because she wasn't vaccinated. Still, this was recent. And so
Wow.
people are being denied life-saving procedures because they're not vaccinated today. And we know the limitations and
That's
shortcomings.
crazy. Like, what does that have to do about being able to receive a lung?
And we know the limitations and shortcomings of vaccination. But you want me to feel bad because somebody got to take a plane to go fly to have an abortion?
And I loved how he brought up the point that shows like how she's not part of the middle class. You know, definitely not working class. You know what I'm saying? She's not part of the middle class. She's super rich. You know what I mean? But the idea of that most people can't even afford flight. Like the person that's more likely than not that's going to go do an abortion, they're doing it for financial reasons, generally speaking, right? And so, you know, most of those people don't care. You know what I'm saying? Even paying for the abortion itself is a big deal, let alone travel to it, right? You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing is like she has to travel, she has to take a plane. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I love how he
Sit
brought
next
up
to
like
a
you're not part
stranger
of
and stand in a TSA line. Like,
right? You know,
well,
what
if
I'm
that's
saying?
the case, I think standing in the TSA line is a criminal experience, and we should all be free from it.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's terrible.
I hate it.
I hate it.
Yeah, bro. I just
But so yeah, I'll pull up the comments so we can look at those.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me see if let me get a little bit. Okay, you can go in. So yeah, so this is the actual video from Call Her Daddy. This is the actual, you know, we were showing a breakdown from somebody else's page, fair use. But this is the actual Vice President Kamala Harris. So I don't think she achieved what she wanted to achieve. If you look at these comments, bro, it's bad. You said, who just came here for the comments? 113 replies. If only these real people and not bots coming, coping because Kamala is winning. Oh, man, you need to unburden yourself by what has been. That's hilarious. But
you need to be free.
Yeah. You said, y'all never heard of the draft. At least 1 million men have died. That must have been something specific in the podcast that we didn't see. They said the podcast viewership and rating going forward have been unburdened by what has been. Thank you, comment section, for restoring my faith in humanity. The comments did not disappoint. Can't believe how tone deaf this interview is. What about the vaccine mandates, which force people to choose between their careers, livelihoods, and their freedom of choice? My mother was a nurse during COVID. She quit because she did not think it was right to force people to take a vaccine that had not gone under the sufficient amount of testing. People in the military had to quit. Literally, these are all points. Now, we can't verify this at the moment because I guess we have to download a plugin. But 6.5 likes to 20,000 dislikes. How long before these comments get disabled? Look, guys, I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. For those without the browser extension to see dislike, the ratio is 8.1K to 28K dislikes. This is the desperation and reflects the total failure in connecting with the American people and their concerns. This is not a campaign that has legitimacy and credibility, even in its own estimation. How long before these comments start getting censored or the video gets removed? You guys know there's no such thing as Trump abortion bans, right? It's up to the states to vote for how they see it. Now, this you would think this would be just like the Breakfast Club, ambush of Jill Stein and Butch Ware, right? It has the exact opposite effect of what they were trying to go for. This is why, just the zeitgeist, man, just the feeling on the street. I know that, bro. I'm thinking she's gonna have it's gonna be a landslide. It's gonna be like one of those Reagan and Dukakis type. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's gonna be one of those type of results, man. Like a beating like that you've never seen, dude. Glad this interview will remain up in the cloud somewhere above for the comments are the real polling. Look, guys, my father was a Marxist professor who abandoned me. Kamala helped the vaccine mandate. Is that my body choice? I grew up in the middle class, fell out of a coconut tree, and have been unburdened by what have been Trump 2024.
But even I wanted to say something about the comment you read earlier.
About which one? Which one, brother?
They got a real strict abortion, not real strict, a real loose, like I don't know if there's any limits on abortion in Michigan, like no term limits, nothing. I think you could just
a lot of these states
have one.
Yeah, there is no limits. That's what they brought up with Minnesota. And so the crazy thing is that they always try to say like, oh, you know, because I think in his interview, they talk, even in his interview, they bring up the fact like, hey, you know, is there any state that's killing killing baby after 9 months? No, but there's nothing restricting for that to happen. You understand? And so when JD Vance was asking, you know, Walsh, like, okay, well, what if the baby survives? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if the baby survives the abortion? What is the legal ramifications? And they just, you know, never addressed the question. You know what I mean? So, you know, because even like somebody was saying, even in my bad. Let me just stop sharing. Period. I think we've covered all these videos. I mean, these comments to show like how they're not going with what they thought it was going to be. That I mean, that's a real legal situation that could possibly happen. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there have been cases, you know, where people have, you know, people who are here with us today that were survivors of, you know, abortions. You know what I mean? They actually survived the procedure. If there's no limit, because even in Roe versus Wade, there were limits. They have put limits in second and third trimesters. But a lot of these abortion laws that have been passed since, you know, the Roe versus Wade takedown, they are not including that language in the bill or in the, or you know what I'm saying, in the bill or in the law that talks about, you know, so therefore it is legally conceivable, right, that someone could be having an abortion in their, you know, whatever term, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, and the baby survives. So like, what, you know, what will we do then? What's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how late? You know, those things weren't addressed when these bills were being passed. Because of course they were being passed at rapid fire, you know, rate. And these you know, these state legislatures, you know, that had the Democrats, you know, that were Democratic leaning in order to get it back on the books to allow their citizens to have the, you know, allow women in their states to have the right to have abortion. They weren't going through all of the possible, you know, fermentations of what could possibly happen. So that is a legitimate question. It's not like so far off field and it's crazy to even conceive of this, or, you know, no, there's no way people are having abortions and they're 9 months pregnant or whatever the case may be. Okay, whatever, they're 5 months, 6 months. Let's go with that. What's on the books that's stopping it? Like, what is the, you know, so if there is none, if there is no limitations, then you would think, or there's no language around saying, okay, you know, life of the mother, blah, 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 so on and so forth, all these other, you know, if there's nothing there, then it's plausible. It's, you know what I'm saying? And it will happen. it will happen. And believe me, it's going to be some sort of case or some sort of situation, you know what I mean, where a mother maybe, you know, like I said, it's the child, you know what I'm saying, the woman's going to, you know, some crazy medical situation or something like that that could cause that situation to happen. You know what I mean? Do if the child is still capable of living, do we still kill the baby at 7 months? You know what I'm saying? Do we not try to keep the baby alive? Or, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, so
I think that was what JD Vance was trying to say
right,
about Paul.
Right.
Was his position was that it was going to be up to the doctor to determine whether they would continue life-saving care, like, you know, almost like a what do they call those, DNS? Do not a DNR.
Do not resuscitate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since we did the whole, you know, with the K-Hive and all this is an article I wanted to pull up to kind of bring it back to what our main topic was,
right?
From the Huffington Post in 2020. I just want to read a bit of this article. So let's see. It says Kamala Harris. Let's see. I'll pull us back in. Well,
yeah, it was the K-Hive that got her on the presidential ticket. That's the reason why we're dealing with this right now. If it wasn't for them, we would not be, you know, the Charlemagnes of the world. You know, the K-Hive, they forced Biden to put her on that ticket, and that's why we're in this situation.
Kamala Harris has a vibrant online fan club, but it also has a toxic side. The K-Hive aims to amplify and support the Democratic vice presidential nominee, but some of its members have crossed the line from ardent fandom to overt harassment. And this is also, I can't remember what they called it when Hillary Clinton was running. They called it something, Clinton something or Hillary something. But they were all ended up being funded by David Brock, who was like a big Democratic donor and a Democratic operative. Like they were all paid. They weren't legitimate organic support.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously there was some, but when I say they were all, I mean the majority of them.
Majority of them were paid. Yeah.
Supporters. Yeah. There was something I was just reading. They were saying from this channel, they were saying Israel does that. They pay Israelis around the world to post talking points on videos and stuff, or articles, news articles that are critical of Israel. They'll even pay, like I guess they pay Indians to do it a lot. You know, they'll pay them. So somebody made a joke and said after they get done with their call center jobs, they do this. They
for extra money.
For Israel. Yeah. So this is from September 24th, 2020. So let's see. Luverta Jeffrey's son used to be on Twitter all the time. The 19-year-old was a big Kamala Harris supporter and loved discussing the then presidential candidate online last year with fellow fans. But after some research, he decided Harris was no longer his candidate. I wonder why. Quote, we don't need you F words anyway, end quote. So that's a derogatory word for gay people. F. I'm not going to read it, even though it's a quote. You know, ain't no need for me to bring extra heat to the channel. A tweet popped up on his phone from someone identifying themselves as a member of Harris's digital army of fans dubbed the K-Hive. The loosely organized fan group is an online community of ardent Harris supporters who backed the Democratic senator from California first during her presidential run and now as Joe Biden's pick for vice president. Jeffrey came to her son's defense, thinking that she was up against a few online trolls. Nothing she hasn't seen on Twitter herself, but things quickly got ugly. Self-identified members of the K-Hive started replying to and retweeting Jeffrey's tweets about her son, Jeffrey said, which led to her getting swarmed when anywhere from several to dozens of accounts start tweeting or retweeting one person at the same time. They used her past tweets about being a victim of sexual assault and domestic abuse to harass her. Multiple people also told her she should try to kill herself, citing prior tweets in which she discussed having suicidal thoughts. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the event, but these are the people who would have you believe that they support this woman and they love women and they are, you know, unburdened by what has been. I guess this is what that is. They're unburdened by what has been. They're free to be what they want to be, unburdened by what they used to be. Quote, they spent time retweeting my post and calling me a white supremacist, a coon, and all sorts of derogatory names, fueling others who began to DM me telling me I was a sellout because I was black and I should have killed myself when I had the chance, end quote. So this brings another dimension because I didn't know really. I mean, Luverta, that sounds like it could be like an old black lady name, but then it also could be like a Hispanic name. So I don't know. I don't know. But this brings a different dimension to that because
so wait, they were doing this to the mother or they was doing this to the son?
The mother. The last name is Jeffrey.
Right, but I thought the mother's son was the one who said that he was no longer going to be a Kamala fan.
Right, but she was trying to defend him on the internet, so they started attacking her.
They started attacking her. Okay, got it.
Right, so they were calling her a coon, a white supremacist, and a sellout.
Kamala Harris. Dog, you saw it in my comment section. Right, I'm not a Muslim now. I didn't show the other ones, but bro, it was the same dudes, Anthony Black and his janky Janky Jamal. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. I'm a sellout because I'm a coon. I'm a clown. In reality, to me, you a sellout if you support her, especially knowing all. I mean, because they know what she's done, and they never ever respond to what she's done. All they can respond to is, well, you're not bashing Trump. Like, who cares? Like, that's not the point. You know what I'm saying?
Are you voting for Trump?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do I have to convince you not to vote for Trump? You know what I'm saying? That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I don't have to convince you not to vote for Trump.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I've got to convince you to get involved in this revolution we're trying to have.
Right.
You sitting over here trying to play patty cake with one of the oppressors. That don't work. Quote, I was mocked and harassed for being a sexual assault survivor, a domestic abuse survivor, and was told by the K-Hive that it was good for me and they hope it happens again since I don't support Harris. This black woman is getting tore down, okay? They are tearing down this black woman who don't support Kamala Harris. Believe women unless they say something I disagree with. Listen to black women unless they say something I disagree with. That should always be what you remember when you hear people say that. Because man, that's some shit. Pardon my language. Members of the K-Hive, which one member estimated is made up of 50,000 to 60,000 Twitter accounts, see themselves as defenders and boosters of Harris, particularly as she faces an onslaught of racist and misogynistic harassment. As the first black and first Asian American woman, you can't be both. You can't be both. You can be mixed race or multiracial. You can't be black and Asian. When you black in America, you just black. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah.
Whatever combination you think you not. That's why Tiger Woods, he didn't understand that. When we say, "Oh, he's black," you're black. You don't think some of our uncles went to Vietnam and had kids? Some of our grandfathers went to Korea and had kids. Some of our grandfathers went to Europe and had kids.
They didn't treat them kids. They didn't treat them as they were other.
You see what I'm saying? Y'all not the only black and Asian. Is not the you're not the first black and Asian American person to live. You just black by that demographic. But the fact that you are identifying as black and Asian lets us know that you're not black. You're Asian because you're new. You weren't raised in black culture. This is the thing these are the signifiers that let you know how you were raised. This tells me that you were raised by somebody who wasn't black.
Right.
Because a black person in this country is going to raise you to understand that you're a black person in this country. An Asian mom is going to raise you to understand that you're an Indian lady or that you're Indian too. And even if everybody thinks you're black, you're Indian too, and always be proud of that. And I have no problem with you being proud of that. But stop lying and try to act like you one of us. Harris and her allies have shouted out the group multiple times. So they used to always say this about Bernie bros. Oh, Bernie bros are so rude and all this and that. They're misogynistic or whatever. But Bernie never actually endorsed the Bernie movement, right? He never endorsed quote unquote Bernie bros on his on anything. You know, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. I canvassed for him, right? I donated money to his first campaign. I actually knocked on doors for him. I went to his rally when he had one at TCF now. It used to be Cobo. Or is it that
it's Huntington now?
Whatever it is.
It's
Huntington
now. They keep changing it.
Man, they're getting paid. I know they're getting paid. But here she is. K-Hive, I want to take a moment to lift you up for all the support you've given me during these difficult times. Your support does not go unnoticed, so thank you. So you're endorsing these people. So now you've got to take responsibility for what they're doing. But it says that was from June 2020.
Even further, I'm sorry.
No, you
even further, right? So because that same point was made about what DL Hughley did to Janet Jackson, right? You know what I mean? Like not only so you can't say Bernie Sanders was in contact with and talking through and had a relationship with, invited over Bernie Sanders bros to his house, and you know what I mean? Like she's personally has a relationship with Steve Harvey, with DL Hughley, with what's his name? The one that always Ricky Smiley, you know what I mean? And they're out there attacking people, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And you're not hearing any condemnation from Harris's side to say, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean? That's the big difference, is that she has spokespeople, you know what I mean, that are part of the K-Hive or what have you, that are attacking people. And not, you're not hearing anything from her, saying, hey, cool it down with that. You know what I mean? Talking about, Janet Jackson having a white woman's nose and all of that, so on and so forth, right? That's the big difference, the huge difference.
Right. Exactly. But it says it's not surprising Harris has such a devoted group of supporters and defenders given the historical significance of her candidacy and the inevitable vitriol faced by women, so they're even trying to make excuses for her in this article, particularly women of color in politics, to help explain why some supporters are passionate in their defense of her reputation online. But according to nearly a dozen people who spoke with HuffPost, some members of the K-Hive have crossed the line from ardent fandom to overt harassment and threatening language. Nearly a dozen people said accounts identified as part of the K-Hive often kicked off or instigated harassment campaigns against them, originally backing Democratic candidates other than Harris. Often, after the harassment began, self-identified K-Hive members and other accounts swarmed them on Twitter. And I used to go off on Kamala Harris a lot, and nobody ever said anything to me. Maybe it's because I didn't put a lot of personal information on because I have self-control, and I know that the internet is not the place where I put my personal business out. Like some people who share everything. I got family like that. They put everything on the internet. They put their whole life story on the internet. And I don't because I'm, paranoid. But, so maybe that's, man, it's Detroit. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I live in Detroit. So if y'all heard that, that's.
No, I didn't hear it, man. I didn't hear it.
Like somebody was rattling off a few rounds.
No, yeah, pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. It was fun. They sounded far enough away.
B-side.
Right. It was far enough away.
We're real Detroiters, you know what I'm saying? We ain't in no South Hill, Oak Park. Nah, we not in East Point, you know what I'm saying? We in Detroit.
I ain't too mad about it. Maybe that help my maybe that help keep my property taxes down.
Right.
I ain't mad about it. Just as long as it stays a little bit further out of earshot.
Right.
But the harassment included slurs about people's ethnicity, including calling black people, quote, house slaves, end quote, for backing other candidates. One Elizabeth Warren supporter who identifies as gay said he was told that all, quote, Warren gays should be chemically castrated, end quote, after he was the target of a harassment campaign kicked off by a K-Hive member. A recent high school graduate who supported Bernie Sanders said a volunteer organizer for Harris's presidential campaign tweeted that he, quote, hoped I would be raped in a gas chamber by MAGA Nazis, end quote. The teen is Jewish.
Wow.
The Harris supporter deleted the tweet minutes after posting it, according to the teen. And that's uncalled for. Whatever we feel about the situation in Israel and Palestine, that's still not, we're still not supportive of anybody facing any kind of this type of abuse or treatment, right? That's wild. I mean, but that's wild. Multiple people have said their personal information was published online, forcing some to move their families to a different location temporarily for fear they were in physical danger. 2 women said K-Hive members made veiled threats toward their children. One of the women said she received a call from Child Protective Services about her 17-month-old child after an incident with the K-Hive. Don't put your personal information on the internet, as much as you can. This behavior is not reflective of Harris as a candidate or Harris supporters as a whole. No politician or celebrity is responsible for every tweet by a supporter, nor is every member of an online movement responsible for its most aggressive element. Yeah, heard it again. And it can be difficult to cleanly sum up the behavior of loosely organized political fan groups that form. But see, they're making excuses. I don't know. I have to look for it. Did they make these excuses for Bernie in 2016? Did they make these excuses for Bernie in 2020? Are they making these excuses for Trump or MAGA supporters? And you're pretty sure they're not. And it can be difficult to cleanly sum up the behavior of loosely organized political fan groups that form often online around our most popular political candidates like the Yang Gang or Bernie Bros. A former aide on the Sanders 2020 presidential campaign who experienced the fallout from the sometimes harmful behavior of the Bernie Bros said he believes the toxicity in political fan groups is a reflection of the nature of online fandom, not the politician or celebrities themselves. Quote, between 2016 and 2020, we've seen this happening on the internet much more. Politics is only one sphere of where this online fan culture happens, end quote, said the former aide. Quote, you see it with celebrities who have stands who can be extremely hostile, like fans of Ariana Grande or Taylor Swift, end quote. And I want to say something for some of the younger viewers who might be watching the show, some of the people who just may not know. The term stan comes from the Eminem song Stan. Stan killed himself. He was obsessed with Eminem, and he killed himself and his pregnant girlfriend at the end of the song because Eminem wouldn't respond to his letters that he was writing. And he was in love with Eminem, and he had taken stuff too far. And so we've taken that term, and we've made that just a term for people having fans, and then we want to be surprised these folks act crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Stan was an unstable person. He was totally, completely unstable. We got a comment. That's rough. That is rough. I don't know what you was talking about now because I was reading, but it was a couple minutes ago. So yeah, that is rough. That's rough. You're right, because I remember what I was reading a couple minutes ago. But like, Stan is not. That's not a term we should be looking at, right? That's not somebody we should be emulating when we are fans of anything, sports, politics, nothing. That's not an ideal that we should be striving for. That person was unhinged. He was unhinged. Go listen to the song "Stan" if you need a refresher. But it says, but Harris could be one of the most powerful politicians in the country come January, and her rise has been part shaped by her online image. Quote, obviously, politicians cannot be held accountable for an individual's behavior, but they can certainly influence it and make it clear that they denounce the sort of behavior, end quote, said one Warren Democrat who asked to remain anonymous since they have received threats from K-Hive members. In response to a HuffPost inquiry about the article, Sabrina Singh, a press secretary for Harris, and she does something in the Biden administration now, Sabrina Singh. She's like with the State Department or something, telling lies for the government, basically making excuses for the genocides that they enable or the weapons that they give to hostile governments, and I say hostile to their own people. Quote, the campaign does not condone doxing, derogatory language, or harassment of any kind, end quote. Harassment moves offline. Some of K-Hive's highest profile members have said the group is so close-knit and has led to lasting friendships, often between Black women and other people of color who are excited to see a Black and Asian woman have a chance at the office. Quote, I've seen a lot of situations where people who are K-Hive were going through difficult things, medically, financially, emotionally, whatever the case might be, and a lot of us will rally around them and support them, end quote, said Chris Evans, a K-Hive member with over 55,000 followers on Twitter. Julie Zabrak, K-Hive member and co-founder of Joe Mama's 2020 and Mamas for Kamala, said there's a lot of love on a personal level, or quote, a lot of love on a personal level, end quote, for Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff. Quote, the K-Hive has been there both to support her, to support each other, and our support for her and to connect with each other, end quote, she said. And so Doug says,
that's a long ass article, bro.
Yeah, I'm done. Unless all this half down here is ads.
Just ads. Okay, I'm about to say, damn.
Well, no, I'm about to see because I don't know. It's like a puff piece. No, it's still long. It's still long. This is where it stops. And I was like right here. So this still
right. God damn.
This is a bit much.
But
they trying to really save her, ain't it?
Man, but
here you go.
Yeah, that's funny.
What's
that
the Latin version? Calling somebody a coon, tap dance. I feel like I remember this chick.
Oh yeah,
I remember this chick. Yeah, something happened to her. I remember this chick because, like I said, I used to be on Twitter. I wasn't really on. Was I on there in 2020? Yeah, I was. Man, I remember this chick. I do remember this chick. Because I used to go back and forth with her. They never doxed me, but I guess, I don't have personal information up there, so maybe that's why. But yeah, man, some of these people, it was a guy on there, he was gay. His name was like Mr. Dane or Dane something. And he supposedly was like a male nanny in New York. He used to help in like lower Manhattan with all the rich people. And I guess one of the kids that he used to babysit or whatever went to the same school that Barron Trump went to. And so people were saying, like, you should say something to him or something. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do that because, he's a kid and whatever. But, like, he was real. He was crazy, bro. He was crazy.
Yeah, Twitter's a very crazy guy. Very toxic place. It can be, just like all of them, man. All of these ones, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm telling my age because it's Facebook. I think that's really I think that's Gen X for the most part. But he's a lot of this stuff is it can be real toxic at times, man. I went the one day, what was it, that day that we recorded? I literally went up to, it was 3 a.m. in the morning. I was like, I am not gonna back down from this chick. this chick, you know what I'm saying? I was talking crap. That's what made me want to do that show that one Friday. I'm telling you, bro, we was like, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. I was like, I'm gonna every little thing she's saying, I'm gonna say it right back. I'm gonna make her quit. So I'm gonna outlast her ass. Eventually, she was like, I'm going to bed. I said, you been saying that. I'm gonna outlast you. I said, hey, listen, I got time. I said, I got time today. You know what I mean? I said, now tomorrow, I don't got time. Then she put a crying emoji. I said, tomorrow. I said, I knew it. I'd be like, I know you like me or something, man, because you keep on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, up there. But
Hey, she was at a call center in India talking about, I gotta go to bed. You messing up my overtime.
No, I was a black chick here. You know what I'm saying? She was somewhere in Detroit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, man, it was just.
Hey, look, that's what the profile in the picture said.
Yeah, that's what the profile. Yeah, nah, believe me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
you can tell.
But anyway, that's
she was
all.
legit.
Yeah. She believed me. You know, it was
Yeah,
nothing.
but I mean, you know, there was I think I don't know. I've heard this on YouTube. I think this could be a right-wing talking point, but they were saying a lot of Kamala Harris supporters a lot of the male supporters are either gay or have low testosterone. Like, I don't know if that's true. I haven't found anything to corroborate
scientifically.
Yeah, like I haven't seen anything that says that, but it's like I think this might be a right-wing rumor. You know, but yeah, you know, these people are unhinged. You saw that guy earlier, right? I try not to resort to ad hominem attacks. That guy, man, he deserved it. He deserved all the smoke he could get. He grown. He a big guy. He a big grown man with a child and a wife. And that's how he acted. He was getting more hype than his wife.
Right.
His wife was better composed.
And
more,
you know, it was more stoic than he was. You know what I'm saying? He was all in those promotions. Oh, the man just, you know, anything the man. Oh yeah, that's a lie. They brought the vaccine like as if that's an accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people ain't feeling that vaccine. I mean, I took it because I need to go to Africa. I need to go to travel. You know what I'm saying? So. I'm like, well, it's like I'm gonna have to take it. I'm like, but I waited like a good year. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I waited a little good year before I had to take it to get on the plane, man. But yeah, they won't let you even travel if you didn't. You know what I'm saying?
And for me, man, I wasn't taking it. I resorted to the point where if I was going to go to a restaurant or a store, and it wasn't like a necessity store where I didn't have another option or whatever. I wasn't even going. If I had to wear a mask, I wasn't going. Like I wasn't doing none of it. Yeah, if I got to wear a mask, I wasn't going. You know what I'm saying? And so, I felt it in my spirit, not to. It was some fishiness going on, even when they announced it. Because I got a cousin who's a doctor, and I talked to her about the flu shot. I said, hey, and they might even be on the show from around that time. But I said, do they make y'all get the flu shot? Is that mandatory? And she was like, no. I said, what's the procedure? Like, this was still the summertime. She was like, they just make you sign paperwork saying you understand the risk, but you don't have to get it. Like, they can't make you get it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, cool. I ain't doing none of that then. And then, you know, we all know what came after that. And it's like, just like the K-Hive. I mean, you know, I got a book. I haven't read it. I got a whole bunch of books I haven't read. It's like I got a decorative library or something, but it's called the Power of Crowds, or something like that. And it looks at like the way that social programming occurs, or how to influence crowds, or how to influence people. And you know, that's what you see a lot. We talked about propaganda and repeating lies over and over again, and eventually people will believe them. That's what it is. You know, they keep telling you something, the K-Hive, or, you know,
the media,
the vaccine, the media. Yeah. Like the guy who burned himself alive, the CBS reporter, either CBS affiliate reporter. He self-immolated, but I think he only got like his left arm up to the elbow, like from the hand up to the elbow, where he burnt himself. And he said like he couldn't take it anymore. He was complicit, or they were complicit in spreading lies.
Right.
And so, you know, he had enough integrity. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a course of action for most people, let alone all people, but you know, he was so convicted by what he had done and what he was continuing to do, that he took this drastic step, you know, as a corrective for himself. And we know Aaron Bushnell did this at the front of the Israeli embassy, a U.S. soldier who said that he had proof that that the U.S. government was helping the Israelis to actually carry out strikes on Gaza. So it wasn't just some nominal support and weapons, but it was actually help with planning and carrying out the strike, like you talked about earlier. Even those leaked information saying that the Biden administration is pushing, the Biden-Harris administration is pushing to have Israel bomb in Lebanon like they are.
Lebanon, right.
It's not just Israel overstepping. And so everybody who mad at Netanyahu, for all we know, all this time, he's been the puppet all along,
Right.
And letting him come in here and act like he putting his feet on the couch and grinding his feet in the couch like Charlie Murphy. I mean, like Rick James. And all this time, we didn't put the battery in the back, and we got our hand up his back. You know what I'm saying?
Because it wouldn't surprise me, man, because I think the whole goal is to make life for the Palestinians in the West Bank and in Gaza so miserable, so terrible, that they eventually just leave. If they don't outright kill them, they eventually just leave and make Jordan or these other countries take them in permanently. Then they'll be able to go ahead and get all the greater Israel that they've been trying to do, from the gate, from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? That's what it just kind of proves to me. I think that the administration wants, whether it be Trump or Harris, it doesn't matter. I think the ultimate goal of the Zionists is to create a situation to where they get into a regional war and they kind of just do like the Germans did with Russia, right? You know what I mean, with Iran. You know what I'm saying? Because Iran has been have been having a lot of issues, over the years with their populace, and just like the Germans, sent Lenin to Russia, and they overthrew the Russian Tsar and all of them. You know what I'm saying? And that was their reason. That was their way to get out of, having the Eastern Front, in World War One. I think that's kind of like what they're probably hoping that will happen in Iran. You know what I'm saying? That Iran get, like the government, they get into a war with them. They cause enough issues and casualties, and then somebody rises up, or they give, not even someone. I'm pretty for sure, they are, CIA. They are, they've already replaced. They did that with the Shah the first time, right? You know what I mean? Back in the 50s, right? So, that's the type of games that our governments plays all over the world. You know what I'm saying? When you're seeing all this destabilization and none of this stuff is by you know what I'm saying, is by accident. A lot of it is all on purpose, you know what I mean, for some greater goal, down the line that's going to, further enrich, the United States, or, what I mean, we have a puppet government, what I mean, that's going to let us get either mineral wealth or some type of thing that we're going to extract from them, or it'll be another market for us to sell, our goods over into their countries or whatever, or it'll be a source of cheap labor, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, right? It's or it could be all three. It could be all of them all at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, bro, I don't see it getting better either or. That's why I'm like, unless we wholesale change this and put in, really people power politicians and and create people power systems, you never, the system is producing exactly the way it's supposed to. While you see all this chaos and everything, that's the way it's supposed to. You seeing, the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. That's the way it's supposed to be, man. We just had a couple of errors where that was kind of stunted for a little bit, and it's just went returned right back. You know what I mean? Right back into what they want. I mean, this country was basically founded by rich people anyway. You know what I mean? This has always been a rich man's game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This whole the revolution and freedom and all of that had nothing to do with it, bro. Absolutely nothing to do with it. You know what I mean?
It just was sloganeering to get the majority of the people who were just on the ground, the laborers, the peons, the whatever. to get involved because you knew that there still wasn't enough rich and wealthy people to get actually any of the work they wanted to get done. But you see that all over the independence movements throughout South America and stuff, where they broke off from Spain. These countries who aren't stable, they don't have income, so to speak of. There's a lot of income inequality, corruption. That was facilitated by the greed of the ruling class in a lot of these countries. Not in every case. Like you look at some of the countries where Simon Bolivar liberated, his intention, especially at the time that he did it, his intention was to allow these countries to expand and grow and become, autonomous, independent regions where there was no, racial caste system or social caste systems like you saw in Europe. But they didn't work out that way in application. So, you have countries where even today, I mean, the U.S. has destabilized these places, like you said, but where, the elites are willing to sell off the natural resources or the rights and access to the natural resources to our government or our corporations in order to receive kickbacks that maintain their own lifestyles, their stability, their entrenchment of power. They're able to move around the world and do whatever they want to do, move to Europe, move to the U.S., live in the exclusive neighborhoods, and their families and stuff are taken care of. It's a cycle that continues to repeat. But like you said, when you're trying to change the system, you cannot do that if you are doing things that edify the system. Basically, you have to do things that actually would create the opportunity for substantial changes. And that's why, like you said earlier, you support Jill Stein. That's why I support Jill Stein and Dr. Butcher Ware, because I believe that the Green Party, personally, this is not an endorsement. This is not me trying to campaign for them. I'm not advocating anybody else vote for them. I'm advocating for you to make a decision based upon your own research. We've given you, last show we did, we were down to do a lot of the economic stuff with their tax plans and things like that. But, look for your own self, give yourself your own time and go through all this stuff. But, this is why candidates like that, whose morals align with ours or my own, are the people that I'm voting for. It's not a perfect marriage, right? They still do things that I disagree with. They say things that I disagree with. But overall, morally, we have more agreement, significantly more agreement than disagreement. And so that's why I support that party. I support them for president. I support Jill Stein and Dr. Jill Stein and Dr. Butcher Ware. Man, that just is what it is, So
yeah. All right, man. Well, we are definitely well into it. It was 2:52.
Yeah, so like the time is because last I looked up, it was like 2:08. And then it's like,
all right. Yeah, but yeah, that thing, man. Another great one, dude. I'm sure we're probably gonna do a couple more shows before the election. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of things to talk about. Plenty of things to talk about coming up, man. We're less than 30 days, man. That's crazy. Less than 30 days to November 5th, man. I'm just really looking forward to a bunch of people crying.
Yeah, because they've been told this lie this whole time, and I don't see it either, man. I don't see, like, on the ground, I don't see anybody supporting her like that. I really don't.
When listen, you saw those comments. That was one. You saw the show. You saw what the type of audience that would be listening to that type of show. You know what I mean? The age demographic is, below, definitely below 35. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I doubt women my age but they might. You know what I'm saying? But I doubt
some of them who refuse to accept the reality.
Right. They think they still young, right? They still, you know what I'm saying? They still. Yeah. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. But you saw, like, bro, like, if you can't win over that demographic,
you cooked.
Bro, it's over with, man. It's over, bro. Like I said, we about to see a Reagan Dukakis. Who was another landslide, man? Was it Lyndon B. Johnson against somebody? Was
McGovern, George McGovern.
George McGovern. Like, we about to see some That's what I think is gonna happen, bro. I don't think it's even gonna be close, dude. I don't think it's gonna be close at all. They talking. This is one thing they were saying. And I was like, yo, they've been under polling, like every poll, you know, the actual result, like let's go back to 2016 and 2020. You know, that they had Trump down, like, you know, by whatever percentage, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't come, he beat their percentages, you know what I'm saying? Like he you know, the actual vote was higher. So you have to, like, you know, and they're having her tied, you know, her and him tied or whatever, maybe close margin. They was like, well, you gotta, if you configure for the underpolling that normally happens based on the last 2 election cycles, right? You know, based on what the polls were saying and actually what happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's no way, dude. It's no way, man. And hey, listen, I do want to show one thing, man, before we go.
Okay.
I do want to show one thing. One thing before we go, man. You can hear in this person's so, you know, they did the Abandoned Harris at Abandoned Harris meeting in it
was Dearborn, right?
Dearborn. Let me share. Present. Share screen. Entire screen. Share the audio. All right. I'm gonna make this wider. Oh, I'm sorry.
He put more African American into prison than any other DA. And telling Muslims that vote for Kamala Harris, she's no good. I've been following her for almost over 20 years. When she was a DA in California, she put more African American into prison than any other DA. So don't get into this trap that she's a black and she's minority. We know President Obama, he was black. His middle name is Hussein. And I'm ashamed to say I endorsed it and supported him. But Tony Blinken, the devil, he was a deputy state attorney. He architected and planned and killed over 2 million Muslims in Syria and Libya. Shame on them. And now he got rewarded to become a Secretary of State. How can somebody who has a dual citizenship as an Israeli and American and represent America? Of course not. They have only one agenda: to kill as many Muslims and Arab as possible. So, before I leave this stage, I want to appeal to all the Muslim and Arabs, and especially in Michigan State, please do not vote for her. Because if you're Muslim or oppressed, the people who oppressed and the people who support oppressor in the day of judgment, all their good deeds will be taken away, no matter how pious they are. So, my brother and sister, spread the word and all over Michigan, no to Kamala, no to Trump, and vote for Jill Stein. Thank you.
Bro, that's the reason why she gonna lose Michigan. If she can't get, she don't get Michigan, she gonna lose in Pennsylvania, bro, because that's Philly, Georgia.
Yeah, they're heavy over
there. Atlanta, large black population. You know what I'm saying? Muslim population as well in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know, Wisconsin.
Chicago got one too.
Yep, Chicago as well. You know what I mean? But I don't know if she'll lose Illinois. But
oh no, she's not gonna lose Illinois. No,
right,
no.
But Wisconsin,
it's not enough to swing Illinois.
Yeah, they say Wisconsin, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Those are like she can't lose. Like she needs to win all three of them. If she loses one or two, she's cooked. There's no path to it. There's no path, right? I don't think she's gonna win Georgia. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, bro. It's like I said,
I would be surprised if she win Georgia again because I was skeptical about them winning it the last time. I lived down there.
Right.
And them Republicans used to win like
Big
clockwork.
time. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna win. I don't think, you know, and the black community, you know what I'm saying, is split on this chick, you know what I'm saying, on this woman, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Like electorally, you're gonna see some, it's gonna, you know what I mean? I don't think she's even gonna get the popular vote, you know. So
But like one thing he said that I think is important to kind of hit on. Now I've talked about it before, but Anthony Blinken said something. I'm paraphrasing it. When he went to Israel, he says when he goes to Israel, he doesn't go as a Secretary of State. He goes as somebody concerned with Israel's well-being or something like that. That's what he said. It's some. I have to find the clip. Not today though.
Right. Yeah, I know we're about to get off. Yeah.
But that, you know, you can't have that, bro. You can't be no dual citizen and you have some kind of government position like that.
Yeah.
You have a dual allegiance. And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, like I'm not against people having dual citizenship. One day I want to have one. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like to be in like you said, as a representative in the government, that, you know what I mean, that ain't where it's at. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So yeah, like nah, especially but yeah. All right then, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna see what's going on in this game, this football game.
Okay. Speaking of the Lions, the Tigers won 3-0. So the series is tied 1-1. Coming back here, I think.
Are they going against the Guardians?
Yeah,
Cleveland?
I don't know if they play tomorrow but yeah, so they play Wednesday. Wednesday. It's gonna be home. So they got 2 home games, I believe. And then they got one more game in Cleveland if it goes to 5 games. Hopefully they can close it out here. Because I would like to beat Cleveland. I hate Ohio. So
yeah, I know you got your hate for Ohio.
Yeah, Cleveland. You know what? I don't hate Cincinnati as much. I don't like Cleveland. Like everything Columbus and North, I don't like. I don't really rock with Cincinnati. Like I ain't rooting for Cincinnati to win nothing. But Columbus and North is where I really just. That's why look. Keep all them Haitians in Springfield, huh?
Yeah, I
do
guess
all
so,
that to destabilize Ohio.
I don't hate Ohio like that, man. You know what I hate? I hate Ann Arbor, bro.
Yeah, that's what y'all problem is. That's what y'all problem is.
Yeah, I don't hate
us
Ohio
more than you hate them. That's your problem. I got dual allegiances. See what I'm saying? That ain't good. Bro.
Yeah, you can say what you can. I hate that school in Ann Arbor, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you know, hey, I hope the Buckeyes beat y'all every freaking time. I don't
have to hope they beat y'all because they do it. So
yeah. We got our spanking.
Y'all did.
Man. Yeah, bro. I'm not feeling as confident as I was.
Well, hey.
I'm like, man, that Oregon game. I'm like, y'all can't stop Oregon, bro. Like,
like I said, at least with the Lions doing good, if the Lions do good, I accept my college team doing bad. If the Lions can get a Super Bowl out of it,
exactly.
I'll sacrifice them. They didn't give me enough joy in my 36 years at the college level.
Yeah.
The Lions, they never made me happy. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll let them be bad for a minute if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. All
right, man.
Let me see. I put our music back. Peace out.
Peace.